I've never done it before. I've used Zoom maybe like 8 times. So
Okay.
like that's why I was I I was apprehensive about doing it because I wasn't sure what to do. Like if you have some openings, of course I'll volunteer to do the the hosting duties. Do we
Okay.
need? Yeah, does a
Uh, what I'll do is I'll make you the third person in the room, and that way you're not you're not like the key human for it, but you can still be there and help out.
okay. That
Yeah, I will. I can explain that a little later today when we start.
okay.
Okay.
We're doing posters on just Saturday. No, we have 6 sessions. Are they
Yes.
starting on Friday also?
No, no. Saturday, Sunday, 3 and 3.
Okay, Saturday and Sunday.
3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday.
Jean-Pierre, I'm so glad you're here. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I have the email somewhere, but okay.
I'll send you the schedule shortly.
Okay. I have it somewhere, but we have so much, what is it? 23,000 Zoom, Slack messages so far, I think, on the conference.
Don't let it kill you, man. I generally try to be very selective about what I think I need to read on Slack. In any case, why don't we get started? People are still coming in, but it's already 7 o'clock, and I want to keep this on a fairly tight schedule because, again, I am very grateful that everybody made time to come tonight, and I don't want to take up too much of it. All righty. So I thought I would take this opportunity to show you how I would begin a meeting if I was going to be doing hosting for a presentation.
Hey, record.
Already did. Beat ya. Okay. And also you can tell that I am recording because if you look at the top left, okay, of your Zoom window, you can tell that somebody's actually recording. So that will tell you if somebody actually tried to record besides you. And you want to make sure that that wasn't, by some accident, someone who is not authorized to record. And the only people that could be authorized to record is a co-host. Anyway, that's the whole topic of recording, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This is how I would start a thing off. If everybody was in the room, it's a couple of minutes before the time of the presentation starts. This is how I would go. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I would like to begin the presentation. So I will be muting everyone, and please don't be offended if I do mute you. So everyone is now muted. But by the way, just as a parenthetical aside, you don't actually say this, but you go to the presenters button and you unmute them so that then they don't start speaking to an empty mic. And thank you very much for coming. The name of this presentation is Room Hosts Training number 2. And our presenter will be Jenny Crittenden. I would like to remind everyone before I turn on the recording that you will be recorded. If you would like to turn off your camera or change your name before we begin, this is your opportunity. Otherwise, in a few seconds, I'll be pushing the recording button. Recording button pushed. Okay, Jenny Crittenden, would you like to begin? And she would begin, and then we would have the presentation. So that's the way that I would actually start things off. You want to, before you hit the record button, tell everybody they will be recorded. Okay, you want to make sure that the presenter is a co-host so that they can have access to the screen sharing functions. And there were a bunch of things that you would be doing before what I just said began. You would be going over your protocols with the presenter. You would be making sure they have a good share screen ability. You make sure that they hit those two audio buttons at the bottom. Okay. Can I just have a show of hands in the participants list? For those of you who were not here last week, if you could hit the raise hand button, the little blue raised hand button. You were not here last week for the first Room Hosts meeting. Just want to see how many people.
Where's the reaction?
No, okay, the participants list. If you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, there's the green share screen button. To the left of that is the participants button. Click that and the participants list will slide out on the right, and you can see the participants, the raise hand button to the left of that. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Oh, there's a lot of people who weren't here last week.
It was like, give me a minute to note that.
No, that's good because that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna, how many is that now? Probably on the range of about 12 people. So I'm gonna clear all now. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, last week we went over the document that I am still very much in the process of writing, so it is not at all completed. But basically, I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Excuse me. Okay, it is this. It is the room host training agenda. Okay, and I will now provide in chat, or Jenny, maybe you could, or if you have the link to that, or maybe I will at first because you probably don't have that on your computer yet. The link to that here, and I will put that in our chat. There it is. And if you do not have access to that file, there's also, actually, I realized I should give you access to the entire folder, which I'll do a little bit later. There's an entire folder of documents that you should have access to. It is the room hosts documents folder. And maybe Jenny or someone else can put that in chat, and everybody make sure that you request access to that folder, because that's where we put the protocols for poster presentations, the protocols for live host meetings, and all of the stuff that will be important to you. The documents themselves are still being written, so if they seem a little bit random in some places, I apologize, but there's new information coming all the time about scheduling. I have new ideas about how, for example, the poster presentations have never been done before. Not in any way have we had a need to run a multi-breakout room poster presentation style Zoom setting. So a lot of this stuff is very new, and I'm writing it as we go. But if you have access to those documents, you'll get the newest information as we go. Okay, so is anyone having any trouble accessing the room hosts training agenda? I'm going to turn off my share for a second, and you can ask me here, because we're going to access that, and it's kind of important that you have it. Anybody having any problems? Nope. Okay, good. So back to my share. Now, depending on the speed of your internet connection, as I scroll this might get blurry or not. So I encourage you to actually try to keep up with the share image that you see with an actual copy on your own browser. So not just watch what I'm sharing, but you can go look on your browser for what we're at. This is already scrolled down now to page 3, because at the top of this is all the stuff that we covered last week. And most of what we covered last week was about the general information that you need to know when you're hosting any kind of presentation, but mostly a regular presentation where the presenter is there with a PowerPoint and they want to talk for their 25 minutes or their 60 minutes, and then there's a Q&A. That's basically what we covered last week. That was recorded and it is in our Slack, and I hope that you have access to the Slack. I hope you have access to the folder. If you don't have that, please try to get that before you leave tonight. Okay. Also, I should tell you, I do not, because it's just the way that I work, I do not watch the chat throughout my presentation. So I would hope that Adam maybe, or Jenny can just chime in and tell me if I have anything that's pertinent to what I'm saying right now in the chat. But if you expect me to see it right away as soon as you type it, I probably won't. Okay, so let's get going here. I want everyone to get an idea for how we're going to be accessing the actual Zoom accounts that we have purchased for this month for the conference. And if you look here under room access, or under room access practice, you're going to see one account ID, which looks like an email, and the account password for that ID. Now, let me show you how that's going to work. But first, I want to make sure that you have access to that. Okay. And unfortunately, I have to do a little bit of window management here. And I've got to slip this, which is the Zoom US. Oh, no, sorry, that's not what I want. I want to go to the Zoom US site. By the way, if you're looking at my computer wondering why all the colors are different, that's actually going to be part of the discussion a little bit later, but it's called dark mode. I have put my computer into dark mode. Okay, now, if you have never come to Zoom US, please go to Zoom US. It's very easy, just zoom.us, okay? And go to, well, okay, I'm still logged in, but I'm going to log out very quickly. And you will see the sign in button, okay? Now, I want you to sign in using the information that I showed previously here on this document, okay? And let me show you how to do that, okay? Oh, I'm going to go to the sign in area, Now, the nice thing about the fact that I'm doing this on my browser is that if you do it once, which is like right now before the conference begins, all you have to do is ask your computer to remember that password, and then you'd never have to type it again. It's in my password manager now. Firefox has a password manager. I believe Chrome has one. So you just type that in, it'll remember your password, and you can sign in very, very quickly. So when it comes time for you to do the hosting for your rooms, you will receive from your squad leader, and I'll mention what the squad leader is all about for the people who haven't heard about that organization yet. You'll receive from your squad leader these accounts and these passwords that you should input into your web browser before the conference begins. I'll talk about the squad leaders in a second. I know that's kind of mysterious for people who don't know yet. But if I sign in right now, okay, sometimes you'll get this problem. And it's a problem, it's security. You'll get that sort of Rubik's Cube-like where you have to do these traffic lights, okay, and make sure that you see all of them, okay? Zoom has fairly high security on this. Normally when people use these kinds of Rubik's Cube kind of reCAPTCHAs, you only have to click 3. They have 4, so make sure that you find all 4. Verify, and then you'll come in. And then you'll find that you're on OneJolt 2020. Okay, now everybody, please go ahead and copy paste into Zoom US, sign into Zoom US that way, okay, and get into that account, okay? And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to survey who has not yet finished. And if you have not yet finished, I will ask you to hit the raise hand button. Okay. Oh, I got
Everyone understand what he's asking you to do?
If you have any questions, just open up your mic. Jerry, you okay?
It's not gonna sign. It's like we're signed in Zoom now with our own accounts.
Correct. It won't sign you out.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just be specific on that because it's important to know about this. When you say you are signed into Zoom, you are signed into Zoom right now, probably on your app. What I have asked you to do is to sign into your Zoom account on the website, which is a different thing. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are wondering, oh, wait a minute, if I sign out on my app, I got to do my password again. We had this discussion last week. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. Your app remembers your password. That's why I'm asking you to do this on the website and not within your app. Your app is a pain because it doesn't remember passwords. And we will be having to work with maybe 3 or 4 passwords through the conference. And having to remember them or use your password manager to access them is a total pain. But your web browser manages them much, much better. Okay, has anyone had any problems trying to get into that? You should be able to see that screen that I showed you before. This one here, that it says that you're on OneJolt 2020. Is anyone not on OneJolt 2020? Okay, this is the actual innards of the account that we'll be using, and we have approximately 30 plus of these accounts. Now, they will be numbered Jolt Room +1, +2, +3, according to the name. I'm sorry, according to the number of the account that you'll be using. So when you're being told that you have to go to room 5, that will be Jolt +5, right? So that's the way that we have used a protocol to actually get these accounts in, and they're easy to understand because we refer to them as their room numbers, okay? Now, just to show you something, all right? Oops, sorry, I'm in the wrong place. If I go to meetings, okay, the way that we'll be running this is using the personal room ID. Now, this isn't really important, but for those of you who might need to know this, it's the personal room ID. And the personal room ID allows you to join a room for you that is always up. And that URL that is always available is the URL that we used for the conference, okay? Now, you are still in this meeting originally logged in from whatever Zoom account that you have, whether it's your institutional account or your private account. I'm using my private account, okay? What I want you to do right now, okay, is, listen to me first, okay? You're going to leave this meeting, okay? You're going to leave this meeting and you're going to go back to Eventzilla. So please have ready, before you leave this meeting, the Eventzilla button that you use to come back to this meeting. Okay, so you're going to leave this meeting and then you're going to come back. But when you come back, you are logged in on the website as Jolt+1. You will come back using the same name that I have right now. If you look at my camera, my name normally is Jose Cruz. It isn't this time, it's 1Jolt 2020. When you come back through that Eventzilla button, you will come back with this name. Okay? Does anyone want to ask me before they go? Robert.
Chris doesn't have the Eventzilla set up, I don't think yet.
Oh, okay. Then Kristen, just stay here. Don't leave. Okay. If you haven't been able to get into the or wait, Chris, were you able to get Chris? Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Right here.
Okay. Were you able to get into Jolt 1Jolt 2020?
The Zoom, right? The
Ye-
Zoom
Yeah.
account. Yes, I'm in right
Into
now.
the account. You're in there.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So before you go, I'm gonna show you this. Unfortunately, this is always a problem with my desktop. I have a very big desktop, but get the URL here. Okay, for the rest of you who don't have Eventzilla set up, the URL is right here. Grab that URL. That's the URL you will come back with. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. So is everybody cool?
Where's
Everybody
that
ready to-
URL? Sorry.
One at a
Where's
time?
that URL? Sorry, you said get the URL.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. This green button right here, you click that, you're going to see that copy link button right there. That will copy and you put that into a word processor or somewhere else, your notebook, somewhere else. That will be the active link that you can use to come back into this room with the 1Jolt 2020 account. Everybody
So
good?
it is the green shield in the upper left of this window. Your Zoom window that's currently got the screen share in
Green
it.
shield. Okay, the green shield.
We good?
Mhm.
Okay, so go ahead and do it right now if you're ready. If not, go ahead and throw the questions at us
Jose, do you want me to log out and come back in or no?
if you want to. This is just a reclaim host practice. You already know how
I
to do
know.
that. That's not a big
That's
deal.
why I'm asking if you actually want me to
Not
do
a big
so.
deal.
This is what we're going to use for our hosting login.
Well, it might be one of
It'll be one of them.
as the poster person, yours would actually be room 29, but yes, conceptually this is what it would be.
Christian, or I'm sorry, Chelana, did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I can't find the link. So I've clicked the shield.
Yes.
What tab or which like thingy is it under?
If you look
The
down towards
shield.
the middle of where that little box that appears after you click the shield, it'll say copy link. Okay, I'll show you.
I
again.
don't see anything that says copy link. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
It should be the only thing that's blue.
Right there. Do you see that? Or
Shalana,
the
I'm gonna post it in the chat.
yeah, actually, that's a
Okay,
good idea.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Although you guys should know that because or if we should solve that problem, why you can't get that, because that is an important aspect of things.
So that's a screen shot of it, of what you should be seeing. And just for double efficiency, here's also the Zoom link for you to copy.
Okay, I'm sorry that took way longer than I thought it would, but it's okay. It looks like everybody was able to come back using the
Well,
one.
no, I didn't leave.
It's okay. It's okay, Donna.
Well, first of all, because I was late coming in, so I think I missed something. I couldn't get in.
No,
So I think,
it's okay.
think-
So
yeah. So I didn't leave to come back, so.
No problem. Stay right there. The meeting
Okay.
is recorded. Okay, all of this
Okay.
information is recorded. And I hope you'll be able to figure it out from the recording. If not, contact us through Slack to help you get through that.
Okay.
Chelana, you doing all right now? Or maybe not.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself.
That's-
I think so. I've sorry.
It's all right. It's just that you haven't come back yet, and your name is still Chelana. So I'm wondering if it was okay. Hang on, Mary. I just want to get this one.
I guess it won't open because I'm actually still in this first meeting.
Yeah, you have to leave this meeting
Okay.
and then come back. Okay,
All
Mary,
right.
what do you got?
Oh, I changed it. But the idea of leaving this meeting, it took me 10 minutes just to get into the meeting. Just like Donna said, I had to go through so many sites just to get into this meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid to leave the meeting to come back in.
Okay,
Well,
so
this
that's
is why
what-
I posted the link.
Yeah, that's
for
why you have to grab that link, because that actually makes it easier for you. And
Okay.
I am a little bit concerned if it's still very difficult for you to actually get through to Eventzilla.
I got it. And I changed my name and everything
Good. Oh, you did? No, you haven't.
because I
You
haven't
went
left the
into
meeting and come
Eventzilla.
back in
So where did you change your name?
on the zoom.us account.
What?
Please don't change anything on that account, Mary. I didn't ask you to change anything on the account.
Okay, sorry.
Oh no. Did you change something on the account?
Oh, just my name too.
I think
Yeah.
she did is
so-
when I came back, my name said I was Mary. Just now, I just renamed
Oh
it.
dear, Mary. Yeah, don't. Okay, I should have said this. Please do not touch anything on the account. When I said change, I didn't actually even ask you to change your name yet. I was about to do that. Okay, so Mary, you kind of jumped the gun on me, but it's okay. I'll
Okay.
fix it a little bit later. Okay, I'll fix it
Okay.
a little bit later. What you had to do, Mary, was leave this meeting and then come back. And then we would be talking about changing your name. Okay, so
Okay.
now let's talk about changing your name. All right. When you are a room host, okay, you want to show people that you are officially a JOLT member and you're supposed to be there as a room host. Now, when you come in with this account, it will automatically say 1 JOLT 2020, as mine does. So if you can all take a look at mine, if you're still looking in gallery view, you can take a look at me in speaker view. And I will change my name, okay, to this protocol, okay? It'll be 1 JOLT, take out the 2020, it's obvious what year we're in. No one's ever gonna forget this year. And you would write Jose C. That is a naming protocol for the room so that people know who you are, that you are officially part of JOLT, and this is room 1, where they're pretty sure they know where they should be. Okay, so I encourage you to practice that for yourself. If you don't know how to rename yourself, I'm surprised, but if you don't know and you want to ask, please do so. Okay, so that is how you would rename yourselves. Okay, so those are all the sort of basic things that you can find in the recordings, but I wanted to make sure, because there are actually a lot more of you who were not here last week than I was expecting. That's an important part of things. Okay, any questions up to that point? We okay? Okay, so I'm going to continue now. So today, a lot of what I wanted to talk about last week was about how to run a general meeting, how to work with your presenter so that then you're both comfortable with how he wants to be alerted for time alerts and how to ask questions. Those are all in the recording from the last meeting. Now, today I want to focus on a very new thing. New for me, new for Jenny, new for JOLT. I think new for most of the world because I think JOLT is one of the first major conferences in Japan to try to do a poster presentation using Zoom. So a lot of these protocols, we're in the middle of writing them up, and I would like your input. If you see something that's a little bit wonky or you have a question, best to clear it up right now and to get through those questions. If there is something that you realize, oh, I should have asked that question, you can always contact us through Slack, or you can start leaving comments on the Google Doc itself. But let's get going. So we just did the room access practice. Now, oh gosh, completely forgot. Now, if you all look, sorry, before we go on to poster presentations, this is the big reason why I wanted you to get into this account. If you all look under the participants list, so slide it out onto the right-hand side, okay, you'll see the extra reactions like the yes button, the no button, and below that, you'll see 3 more gray buttons, invite, mute all, and more. Now, the more button, if you're using a Japanese version of this, might be the 3-dot button instead, but it'll either be the 3-dot button on the extreme bottom right-hand corner of your Zoom window, or it will say more, or it will say reclaim host. Okay, now if any of that is like Greek to you, the most important thing is I want you to know that if at any point you come in with this account into this room, you can become the host by just hitting that button. So for example, Robert Dykes, do you see that reclaim host button, bud? Okay, why don't you grab the host from me?
Did I do it?
Go, yeah, why don't you, go ahead.
More, yeah, more.
It's
more
done.
stuff. I already, yeah.
Okay, good. Anybody else want to try it? I take my word for it. You hit that reclaim host button, you're going to become the host. Okay. Let's see who else. For example, Blair, would you like to give it a try? Okay.
Should be okay.
So this is important in case one of your squad members, you're going to be organized into squads, suddenly says, oh crap, my kid just ran out into the street. I got to go grab her, but I'm in the middle of a meeting, and they message you somehow, said, could you come into the room and cover me for 10 minutes? And you say, sure. This is how you would reclaim the host. Okay. Please keep that in mind. That protocol is very important in case of emergencies. Probably will not happen, but if that emergency happens, you have to know that protocol very clearly so you can go in there very quickly, because there won't be very much time for you to call me or Jenny or Alex and ask us for clarification on how to do it. Okay. But the most important thing is you log in to Zoom US using the correct credentials for the room that you're going to be doing the procedure in. You log in, you go into the room that you're supposed to be in, and then you reclaim that host. Okay. Now I'm reminded that actually this is a good point because we've been talking about squad leaders and clicking on links and stuff. Jenny, I'm going to be asking you to take the floor in a couple of minutes, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. Jenny and Alex have been working hard on setting up the schedule, and I apologize because last week, we didn't have that much to show you except what we were using at PanSig. But now we have something a little bit more to show you, and we can talk a little bit more about the scheduling, how it will look, how the links will work with Eventzilla, and you'll have a chance to ask a little bit more about what will probably be coming down the pipe in terms of more information. Okay, Jenny, you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Though I want to address what's being asked in the chat to everyone. Yes, once you are a co-host, you lose the ability to raise your hand. So if any of you wish to not be co-host anymore, I can un-co-host you. Otherwise, you're pretty much all just going to be co-hosts. You still have the yes, no buttons underneath the participants list. Go slower, go faster. The more thumbs up ones, but because you're leading it, you shouldn't need to raise your hand is Zoom's thought process behind that. Okay. So, Jose, just to confirm, you want me to start talking about the schedule, or do you want me to talk about squad leaders, or?
I will ask you to do both if you don't mind. But first, I just want to introduce to everybody who don't know you. This is Jenny Crittenden. She's one of the room host coordinators, along with me and Mark Brierly and the lovely Alex Burke down there. Well, at least on my screen, it's down there. And Alex and Jenny have been working very, very hard on this schedule. So Jenny has all the info that you, Adam?
Yes, I know Adam wants something. I was like, when Jose's done, I will get to Adam.
Okay. So I'm going to give it to Jenny, and Jenny, you take care of whatever Adam needs there.
Okay. Hi, Adam.
Hi, yeah, I was just wanting to quickly try one function, the screen share, because in the protocol it actually says that if people are having difficulty using their Zoom, then using this account to log into the meeting, we should be able to share it with the Zoom window in the background. And I just wanted to confirm that that actually works by doing a quick share.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and do what you want to do? I'm still trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do, but go ahead.
Okay.
I think I know what he means.
Okay, who's the host, by the way? Who's the host?
I am. Nope, Jean-Pierre is now.
Okay, well,
I cannot see Zoom at all, so that did not work.
You're talking about putting Zoom as a virtual background, Adam?
No, he's talking about allowing your Zoom windows to be visible when you screen
Oh, I got a thing for that later. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Sweet.
Okay. Actually, Jose, this question is to you.
Oh.
The constant letting people in noise.
Yeah.
Is there a way to turn that off?
Yeah, sorry, that is a vestige of my particular settings. That will not be on your settings when you are hosting. It was a vestige of the fact that I started this meeting, and it uses the settings from my application, but it will not be on yours. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that would be very upsetting to the presenters if some people are constantly tick, 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 ding, 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 ding. So don't worry, that won't be on.
I have a question about that, though. That sound is someone joining the meeting?
There are different sounds for different actions, Linda. There's when someone is in the waiting room, there's a different sound. When somebody is joining the meeting, goes ding, ding. And when somebody leaves, it's like a whoosh, like a very pleasant sort of high-pitched whoosh. Okay.
Because I didn't see any waiting room allow somebody to join, and if we're all co-hosts, I thought we should have seen something like that.
Yeah, no, you won't, because again, that's part of the a different setting that wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
just point it out really quickly that if you go to the participants list and you go to that more section, you can actually turn it on and off there.
Okay. Okay, Jenny, why don't you go ahead?
Yes. But Did you tell me whether or not I was talking about both or just the schedule or
Both, if you don't mind.
both? Okay.
But I'll cover anything you need.
Okay. So let me start by saying that because we have a little more than 60 people who have volunteered their time, you guys, for helping with room hosting, it's kind of difficult for just 4 of us to keep track of all 60 of you all the time. So we've got a couple of people who we've asked to step up into a slightly higher role, that of squad leader, to help us keep things organized. So Rich Bailey is one of them, Adam Jenkins is one, Grant Osterman is one, Sam Kawakami. I'm trying to see who's directly on my screen that I can point to, but yes. We've got a couple. Linda, thank you. I was like, Linda's on my screen. And then we have page 2, and so there's more. Pat, Adrian, Andy's here. Yes. So Gabriella is here as well. So these are people who you'll be grouped under one of them. If you're not a squad leader, you'll be grouped under one of them, and they'll sort of be your first point person to go to. So within your squad, you'll have your squad leader, and your squad leader is the person who, if you ever have any problems or confusion about something, you can go to them first, and then they can either come to us, or if you can't get a hold of them, you can come to one of us. I can tell you right now that amongst the 4 coordinators, myself, Jose, Alex, and Mark, I will be the one probably most easy to access because at no point in time am I giving a presentation. So they have different times when they have to be in meetings and will be unavailable. But that being said, I would love to tell you who your squads are right now, but I actually can't. So please bear with me till I actually have those lists finalized for you, and then I will send them through Slack and whatnot. And I'll make sure that everybody knows who their squads are at that time. But with that being said, I can at least show you a demo of what the schedule will look like so that you can kind of get a feel for what you're going to be working with during the conference itself and how you're going to be able to access different things. So I will screen share as soon as the host gives me that power.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You're good.
Thank you. So here we go. For those of you, if this is very tiny for you, I apologize. This is as big as I can zoom without losing everything on my screen. But as you can see here, we've got on the left-hand side your names, and then we've got the times of sessions going across the top. And then if you look, the blue, everywhere it's blue, shows you different sessions that are happening at any given point in time. And the blue will extend to the end of that time frame. So if you look here, DJ has a session from 16 to 16:25, and it ends at 16:25. But this one here, the TBL SIG, Donna, I've got you scheduled there from 16 to 16:45. So the blue goes through that time frame. And each one of these is a linked session to Eventzilla directly. So when you go here, now unfortunately the way that a Google Sheet works, you can't just click on the box, it doesn't work that way. You actually have to hover over it and then click on the link. That's just a way that the system works. But once you do, it will take you directly to that presentation, and you can see, you know, the lovely green box at the moment for starting that session and all of these things, so long as you are signed in to your profile here on Eventzilla. And once you get your schedule, one of the things we'll ask you to do is actually double check that what you're seeing here and what you're seeing in the spreadsheet match. We will, of course, do this as much as we can, but you might be faster at finding an error than us because you're only looking at your row. So that's how these basic presentations work. And I want to note that if you look here, the number before it tells you the room. So you would need to be logged into room 1 account for this, but for this one, you need to be logged into room 3. And this one, you'd be logged into room 2, And over here, room 29, that one's a bit special, and I'll explain that later.
Jenny, you have a question when you have a second?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, from Pat at 7:43 p.m. Is there any place on the schedule that shows which account we should be using?
That is the 1, 2, 1, 4, 29. So right in front of the session name tells you the account that you need to be logged into. This is the Zoom room, and the Zoom room shares the same name as the account, with a few exceptions. But we will make sure that whatever it says at the very beginning before the name of the presentation itself is the account that you need to log into. Does that help, Pat?
Pat, you can open your mic if you want.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sweet.
Fantastic. Jenny, go on.
Okay, so from there.
Oh, wait, sorry, Jenny. Jean-Pierre has his hand up. Sorry.
So can I just reconfirm? So tonight we practiced coming into this with the jolt. What is it again?
One.
Jolt one.
Yes.
So that +1 becomes +2 or +3 or
Yes.
+29 or
yes,
whatever. Okay.
yes. So the different account names, and we can show you that. The different account names.
Room host
more?
coordinators. Room host coordinators. There it is.
Users.
Oh, you had your. Oh, that one's fine too, I think.
As you can see here. Ooh, I'll zoom in for that once it loads. Ew.
We haven't released these numbers we haven't released these logon IDs yet, everyone. Well, Jenny's accessing that only because we're not sure yet which squads will be using which rooms.
Yes.
It's
We're
not
going to
because we
try
don't-
and minimize it.
It's not because we don't trust you. It's just that we don't want to cause confusion by showing this to everybody all at once. We want to sort of control the information, make sure that everybody has just a little bit of information that they need. But eventually, you will have access to all of these because we might need you to have access to all of these. But when we know what you specifically need, we will specifically tell you, here are your 3 or 4 passwords and such.
Yes. So as you can see, it just becomes +1, +2, +3 all the way down to +35. Not that that matters because there is no +35. But anyway, that is that. I hope that helps. Jean-Pierre, is that good enough?
He's
Great.
good.
Anyone else?
I encourage everyone, actually, it's easier to see you because we're in screen share mode. It's easier to see that your hand is raised if you use the raise hand button or the yes button in the participants list. Okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm not seeing any more chat things. Anyway, okay, so I told you about the Zoom room number being at the front, which is the account you need, and the presentation and the links. Now, I want to point out a couple of things. In terms of colors, for the most part, you don't need to worry about the colors. It is still a work in progress, so the colors are mostly for me and not really for you, but we do have a guide to it as well. However, the only people's names who are on the left-hand side are people who told me they were available on that day. So if you did not say you were available on a certain day, so if you said you weren't available on Friday, you will never find your name on Friday because I've removed you from the Friday list. Just keep that in mind. Okay, and so then I want to talk about posters, unless I'm jumping the gun. Jose, am I jumping the gun?
Hang on just a second. You got a question from Kinsella?
Yes. Go ahead and just open your mic.
Hi, yes. I just wanted to double check. So when we're logging into the different rooms, is the password the same as the password that you shared with us today? Is a different password? Okay.
Yeah, each account has a different password, random series of numbers and letters. Oh, thanks, Gab. Good to know. So yeah, basically that's the key, is that we will make sure that the account information you have matches, and so that you specifically have the 29 account info, or that you specifically have the 1 account info. So tonight's room 1 is mostly for experimenting, unless you do happen to be someone for this room 1, in which for what you're looking at, this is mostly what Monday's the 16th schedule looks like. So what you're seeing here, with the exception of room 29, is actually what you are scheduled for. But anyway, moving through colors, right here you can see that Bill Pello has a red box, if you can see that it's red, but you can see this box and it's not a link. There's a reason it's not a link. That is because he needs to be there, which means he can't work this session. Generally speaking, if you told me I'm presenting during this time frame, I put that box down so that I'm aware of not giving you a session to work before or after your presentation. And so it's mostly for me, but it's, I guess, also for you if you want to see, yep, okay, yes, I am in fact in a presentation at that time, so I'm not going to work during that time. That's what the red means. And then I want to show you this yellow boxed thing here and here. You can see there are two people who have exactly the same thing. Right here I have listed Neil and Pat both have room 29 blocked off in this huge chunk with a bunch of text in it. This is the poster session. So for poster sessions, it's a very unique situation. We are going to have one Zoom room with up to 8 people, 6 posters in it, but 8 people. Jean-Pierre, you can tell me if I'm wrong about that, but I think that's right. Simultaneously happening. And so what we've decided to do is use that breakout feature that Zoom has given us, where you can choose your breakout room. Because people are going to be bouncing in and out of breakout rooms, one person always needs to be in the main room, hanging out, checking in with people who come in and out of the Zoom room. But they can't go and troubleshoot any other room because they need to stay in that main room. So we have a person, at least one other person, there will always be 2 people, ideally more, but I haven't gotten to that point, in the room where the second person, and you two can talk and decide who it will be. I am not going to dictate that for you. Whoever's more comfortable sticking around can do it. The other person will bounce in and out of breakout rooms and check in with their poster presenters to make sure that everything is going okay in there. Or if they need to troubleshoot with someone on the side, outside of the main room, they can do that as well.
Question from Carlos, Jenny?
Yes.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not really sure what now I'm supposed to use hosting or going to be in the main room for the roundtable. Is the same thing going to happen for roundtable? People just come in and will choose which session they want to go to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So just so that you're aware for everybody, I have every single poster listed within the chunk here. So each one of these is the different posters. So any link will take you to that particular poster session, but only that particular poster session. And remember, there are 6 happening at the same time. So you need to only go to one to get to the Zoom room, but you need this information because of the protocol that we're going to use for naming the breakout rooms, which I don't know if Jose is going to talk about that.
I will talk about that.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is important for you for the sake of naming, but all of the links will take you to room 29. So you can just choose one. You don't have to worry about clicking on all of them. They're exactly the same destination, but it's all there for you so that you can at least very quickly see it. And that's that for the posters. Don't worry, Neil and Pat, there are no posters on Monday and you're not actually doing this. This is just the demo for this meeting, just to show everybody all on the same page. And I believe that's everything. Here you can see that it has backup in all capital letters. That is because this person is an actual backup to this room host and not because the session is called backup. If it's in all caps like this, that's like a note. By the way, you're in there as well, just in case that person who is the room host for it needs an extra hand. So occasionally we've got double room hosts in the same session just to make sure that we're covered for every possible, hopefully, situation that might arise. And that is what you're looking at here. Any other questions?
Sorry, I was about to say fantastic, Jenny.
Oh.
Don't
Yes,
see any
I was-
questions. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay, I wanted to take this opportunity before I start moving on. Jenny, I'm going to cancel your share for a second. I'm going to cancel your share.
Go ahead.
There you go. And I wanted to show everybody, Carlos has forgotten to bring his hand out. Do not bring your hand down, Carlos. But in case some people do still have their hand up, and it looks like that person actually asked a question before, but you don't want to bother like the presenter while they're talking to get them to lower their hand. Look at my screen again in my participants list. Okay, I'm going to slide it in and out so you can see where it is. Okay. Oh, Carlos brought his hand down. Okay. Can someone please raise their hand again? Okay, good. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, you got your hand up, right? So there it is. Few people have their hands up. All right. Now take note of this button over here, the clear all button. That clear all button will bring everyone's hands down. Actually very useful in the classroom too. So if there's a whole bunch of kids with their hands up, but they forgot to bring them down, okay, that clear all button will bring them down. But as you know, the raise hand button immediately turns into a lower hand button once your hand is up. So don't forget to use it when you need to. Okay. Okay. And I just brought down another hand. I don't know whose hand that was. All righty. Up to that point this evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience, but we still got a few things to cover. Any questions at this point? Okay, let's get to the meat of what the poster presentations protocol is going to be like. Okay, I'm going to go back to the room hosts poster, sorry, not the poster, the training agenda. Okay, and this is where we're going to be talking about the poster presentations protocol. All right. Now, on top of the poster presentations protocol, inside the room hosts documents folder are other documents for different types of presentations, and they will be tagged with the word protocol, which means this is what you should be doing. Or some of them will be called checklists because we want to very specifically have you go through chronologically each of the things that we're going to be doing. Now, with the poster presentations protocol, because most of the checklist work, if you've done it before, will become part of your experience if you do a live presentation, a normal sort of PowerPoint presentation. The poster presentations themselves are still in a bit of a mess right now, and I will be producing something more like a checklist, not just a protocol series of notes eventually when that's done. But let's take a look at what I have so far. Okay, so if you look at the room host training agenda, I'm not going to read this out to you. Everybody here knows how to read. You can read that for yourself. Basically, I just wanted to go over a few things. Number one, that document I was talking about, the room host poster checklist, that's still being written. So you'll see that there's new protocol here. That means that I've got to go from my rough draft to actually something up here that I can provide to you. But that, by the way, Linda, that was the sound of somebody leaving just now. So don't expect too much in there. Instead, where I want us to focus is on the room host training agenda. Basically, this is what I imagine, what Jenny just described. We're going to be using partners, hosting partners inside the poster presentations. One person will be able to stay, and any kind of new audience member that comes in, wants to check out some posters, they can be guided by that one sort of person that's up at the top. And then when somebody gets called to help, in one of the breakout rooms, or they just want to check out the breakout room, see if everything's okay, some person can be a rover and another person can stay up at the top guiding anybody that comes back up to the main conference room or any new arrivals as audience members. Now, how that is decided, like Jenny said, well, you're adults, you can figure that out for yourself. But here's what's important, okay? When one person, okay, is staying at the top, make sure that the person at the top is the room host. And you saw how to claim and reclaim hosting, okay? So if you're both in with the same account, that means at any time, anybody can be host. But if you're the one that's going to stay at the top, okay, make sure you're the one with the hosting capability. If you're the one that's going to go answer a request for help in one of the breakout rooms, make sure that you tell the other guy, hey, you got to take host from me. Or you literally give them the hosting from the three dot button in the participants list. Everybody clear on that? That person staying at the top has to be the room host, because they're the ones that can do things like manage breakout rooms. They're the ones that can do, basically the host, they should be at the top, and the rover should be the co-host. Okay,
Yeah, you can just reclaim it easily, right? I mean, you're logged in properly. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Yes.
So,
but the important thing to note is if you reclaim host and then someone reclaims it back from you, your status as co-host goes away. So if you were host, someone claimed it from you and then you reclaimed it back and then they reclaimed it back. I don't know why you'd be bouncing back and forth, but you stop being co-host when you've gotten the host reclaimed away from you.
that's good to know. I didn't know that.
You will need to let that other person know to give it back to you.
Okay.
They need to give you co-host privileges again if you're going to screen share and whatnot.
The next thing, sorry, Jenny. Are you done?
Also, Kinsella has a question.
Oh, Kinsella, go.
So this might have been covered in some of the documents, but I'm sorry, I forgot. How do I actually, when I log into the room, become the host? Is that an automatic thing, or do I? How does that work?
Before you log into your room, you will know what room you're supposed to be in because you look on your schedule. So you've been told that you've got a slot to do as a room host on Saturday afternoon at noon. You look on there, okay, that's the one, and then it'll tell you, okay, which room it'll be. And because it'll already be part of the schedule, you know that room 29 is part of the passwords and accounts that you have. You make sure that room 29 password and log on is what you use to go log on to Zoom US. Just like today, we logged on with Jolt room +1. You will check what room it will be. You get access to that account again. Or, I mean, like, for example, again, if I can just show you this really quickly. If I logged out here, if I found out, oh, I got to do that hosting thing, and what room is, is room 1? Okay, so room 1, well, let me just go in. Hey, I'm all ready to hit room 1 because I've already gone in there one time. So you go to the schedule, find out what the room number is, okay? And if you have not yet logged in with it, just give yourself ample time to log in with it. If you have logged in with it before, let's say you logged in with it on Friday and now it's Sunday afternoon, you got to log in with it again, it'll be there waiting for you. You don't have to remember the passwords because it'll just pop it right in there for you.
So I'm automatically the host as soon as I log in?
Absolutely. Yes. That's what the power of that
Thank
account
you.
number is. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Jenny, did you want to comment or something?
No, Wayne's got a question.
Wayne, my buddy Wayne. Hey, bud. Anytime, bud.
Yeah, no. I was clicked into the chat room.
All right.
Actually, this is actually a question from Bill, and I thought it was quite interesting. Does reclaiming the host mess up the recording? So if you're bouncing back and forth, does for whatever I'm not sure why someone would do so many times, but if you change host, does it mess up the recording?
Simple answer is no. The recording stops when you push the stop button. Okay. So if you had a recording going, it will just keep going. Okay. So don't worry about that. But just my big problem is I forget to hit the recording button. So this is why it's good to get into a routine of saying, okay, everyone, I just want to remind you that we're being recorded. And that literally like jogs your brain that you got to get your finger ready on the record button. Okay. And we had, sorry?
If you have to leave the meeting, if you're host though, but you have to leave the meeting for some reason, will that stop the recording?
If you leave the meeting, yes, it will stop the recording.
Okay.
So, so for example, let's say we are in that hypothetical situation where like you are the host of a meeting, and then it turns out that you literally have to leave your desk because, I don't know, something happened. I would call up one of my squad members and, hey, I got to go take care of this thing, but leave your computer going if you can. Get them to come in so that they can watch the meeting, but your recording will still go. If you think that you can come back to your desk because there's still like a good 15 minutes left of the presentation, you can come back to your desk before then and leave the recording going. And even if you can't come back to your desk, leave the recording going, because then if you come back to your desk, maybe even half an hour later, it's okay. We just trim that recording. If you leave that meeting, that recording will be trimmed. It'll be stopped. Sorry. Okay. Pat.
Actually,
Jenny?
Sam was first.
Who was first? Okay.
A question really quick?
Okay.
Yes, Sam.
So my question, but this is about the reclaiming host and co-host. So I know that when you reclaim host, it's the person who was co-host before loses co-host, but does everybody lose co-host status?
No.
No.
Or just the person you claimed it from? The only reason I'm asking that is that when we all logged back in, right? I was co-host for a while, right? When I first logged back in, but I never made myself host. But I'm not co-host anymore. So that's why I was
took
kind of
away your
curious.
co-host.
Yeah. Jose chose to do that.
Because everybody was saying, oh,
Okay,
but
just
now I
cancel
can't
it.
raise my hand. So like, okay, well, then I'll do that for you.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So you can cancel. Okay, so you can do that too. Okay, got it. So it just only cancels the person you claimed host from.
Right.
It only cancels their co-host status. So
Yes.
you could make them co-host again.
Of
Yes.
course.
So yes, okay.
Or
So you can
they
always
could,
make anyone co-host.
they could literally reclaim the host back at any time too. Then that's the power of that account again. Okay, Pat.
Okay, this is a question about the poster presentations.
Yep.
And how are we working recording for those individual rooms?
That's a really good question, and I will get onto that in just a second. Wayne?
Okay.
Wayne? Oh, okay. Then I'm going to drop everyone's hands, okay? Don't forget to lower your hand. I would appreciate if you lower your hand after you. No, don't apologize. We all have to get used to this stuff. All righty. Back to my show. Oh, Robert.
Yeah. Okay, so this is one thing that, all right, so let's just we have poster session 1. And
Okay.
we have, I forget the exact number. Jean-Pierre can tell us.
There
Let's say
are
we have
6.
What now?
6.
So, all right, we have 6 posters. We have 6 rooms.
6 breakout rooms. 1 Zoom room, 6
Okay.
breakout rooms.
So we have 6 breakout rooms. Are we, if we hit record, is it recording the breakout rooms?
It is not.
So the poster sessions are not going to be recorded because they're just question and answer, right?
Well, okay. Pat asked me to address that issue, so I'm going to address that issue. But it's the same question I think that Pat was just asking, Robert.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Okay, it's an important question about how we're going to do that. Okay. And
regarding recording, just one last thing. Rab did mention where we're recording, and we are going to record to the Zoom cloud for these accounts. So we will have it set within the accounts that it automatically records to the cloud and not to your hard drive, because that's a lot to ask of your hard drive to do. And I have a note on that for later. As volunteers who have access to these accounts, there's something I'm going to request you to do. But for now, Jose, go for it.
Rab, you have a question?
Just about that. My university paid extra for my account to have that hosting space. I think they paid for like 100 gigs. It fills up really quick if you're recording a lot of things. Did we make sure we bought a ton of space?
So that's actually what I'm going to be asking people to do for us, is helping to get those downloaded and into somewhere else when you have access to that account and are not hosting. So
we'll have a protocol for that too.
Yes.
Okay. Other questions before I continue? We're good? Okay. Back to it. Okay, before I get on to the recording thing, this is another thing that's important. We will have one Zoom meeting within which there will be 6, maybe 5 separate breakout rooms for each poster presentation.
Up to 8.
Jenny?
Up to 8.
Okay, up to 8. Okay, so there are a number of breakout rooms. Okay, so between whatever to 8. Okay. Now, as an audience member comes into the main Zoom meeting and they're thinking, oh, this is going to be the poster presentation. Okay, here I am. Now, what do I do? So that's why there were 2 people working as a pair for that poster presentation, because one person, the rover, might have to go because they were called for help into the breakout rooms. But one person stays, and that person, or both of them actually, should be capable of explaining what it is that I have written out here. What you have to do before all of that is you have to get the information for the 8, the 6, the 5, whatever poster presentations in terms of the name of the presentation and the lead author. Okay, so here's an example. My presentation will be between 3 people, but the name of it is called Pattern Building Implementing Fluency Activities. And you look at that and you try to make a judicious call as to what will be the key word in that presentation, and you choose one, maybe two. Pattern building, I chose pattern. My first author last name is Cruz, and I came up with this as a name to use for breakout rooms. Okay, and I think that will probably be fairly helpful for anyone who comes in very quickly to see the name of the presentation, name of the author. Now, what that will look like is share my screen again. This is a little bit small. Sorry about that. Okay, so here are my breakout rooms here. Okay. And I'm going to make some. I'm going to put this over Jenny and Bill so it's easier to see. Okay. And let's say you have 4 or maybe 8 or maybe 7. You choose the number here. Okay. Choose the number here and make sure that you choose this last one. Let participants choose rooms. That new feature came with Zoom 5.3. So again, make sure you have the newest version of Zoom. I have now used Zoom version 5.4.1 for quite a few days. Seems stable, so I can recommend to everybody that you upgrade to 5.4.1. You let participants.
Hey Bill, or not Bill, Jose.
Yo.
Could you actually pull your Zoom window thing bigger? Does that actually allow you to do that? I don't know.
Pull my Zoom window thing?
Like the Zoom screen, since everything on your desktop is visible because of Zoom. Like, I don't know if you made that bigger, if it would show up bigger for people. I've always been curious since you've got it up.
I'm not sure what you're asking me to do.
It's big enough. It's okay.
I'm not sure what you're asking me to do, Jenny.
Maximize your screen. Make it cover the whole screen.
He just wants the window bigger.
Oh, you want me to maximize the screen? No, it's because it's looking at my, well, okay. It's not going to make the breakout rooms window that much bigger.
No.
Does that help?
Every time someone asks you about it and they're all like, your screen is so small.
I can't help it.
I know. This helps.
Okay, thank you. All right. I'm sorry. That's why I apologize every time. So I am apologizing. Please stop reminding me. I know it's too small. Okay. It is a 27-inch monitor. All right. Let participants choose room. Create it. Okay. And you're going to get the number that you asked for. Now, actually, I'm going to start this again. I'm going to recreate these. Okay. Because I remembered, if you have 8 that you need, I would still say that you build 10 or 11, and you have 3 extra, just in case. They don't have to be used, okay? They'll just be extras, and they'll just be called room 9, 10, 11, or whatever else, right? But you need 8, make 11. You need 6, make 9, just in case, okay? So let's say you have 11, okay? Recreate them, and then the rename button, okay, push that here. So you chose, because before you came into this poster presentation with your partner, you know that one presentation was pattern building with Cruz, another one was colors by Burke, another one was scheduling with Crittenden. Okay, so here we go. Oh, by the way, it would be better before you come into this room, I'm going to type this in myself, but you actually write them into a word processor document, then you can just cut paste these as you go. You can do them right here. I'm going to do them right here. But, you're going to be under the gun. 30 seconds is a lot of time when you're trying to do this really fast. Sometimes, you'll make a typo like I just did here, and I forgot to capitalize patterns for P. Okay, so here's another one. Rename that. Come on, baby. Whoa. Why isn't this?
Click yes.
I'm sorry, who was that?
I'm sorry, you didn't click yes to save the name, so it didn't save it.
No, it is saved. I see it, but I'm not allowed to rename any more of these. Now that's a weird bug. I'm going to start this again. Start with a smaller number. Yep, and I'm losing these. I can't rename these. Did somebody claim the host? No, I am the host. This is weird. I can't hit that button. Okay, I'm going to start this again. Start share. Okay. I have an open mic somewhere. Can somebody shut that down for me? I think it might be Alex, actually. There it is. Okay. It was when I maximized the because now I'm good for it again. Okay, so I'm not going to maximize again, but I also have to share this so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, the problem was before, just now, I was not allowed to rename these. And I think it was because I maximized while I was screen sharing, while I was trying to do a bunch of things. Okay, so there's yes, and you can see there's patterns. Now, you can see the breakout window is going to be too narrow for this. Okay, so tell people, if you can't see the whole title, please remember to widen the breakout room window. Okay. All right, rename. So the another one was colors, Burke, etc., etc., etc. And you can see that they'll be there. Okay. Now here's another thing that's important. If your audience member comes in and you're about to explain to them, okay, so open your breakout rooms button here, okay, and you will see the list of posters. You have to ask them, are you on a Macintosh or are you on a PC? If you are on a Macintosh, okay, I'm going to open these rooms now. If you're on a Macintosh, and you can see this for yourself, if you go to the breakout rooms, and I'm going to close my share so that I can just describe this as we go. You go to that breakout rooms button, okay, and you can see below, because no one has moved into the breakout rooms yet, okay, that you will not see a join button until you hover your cursor over the population number of the particular breakout room that you want to join. If you're on a PC, that join button is immediately visible. Okay, some people are jumping in. I hope they can find their way out. But if you don't hover your cursor over it on a Macintosh, people are going, what join button? So you have to make sure that you know what kind of computer they're on. And you tell them, oh, you're on a Macintosh. Okay, just put your cursor over that 0 or over that 15. Okay, there it is right there. You see that? Okay, go ahead and join it. Okay. Now, who here has never actually used breakout rooms and you don't know, when I say things like leave room and stuff like that, you've never seen it? Anybody not familiar with breakout rooms in general? Good, so I don't have to explain about that. But with the user selectable breakout rooms, some people have never used them, and it's important for you to know that the interface is different between Macintosh and PC. Okay. Okay, any questions up to that point? No? Okay, follow along with me, I should say, on my share on your own browser window. And you will see that if you scroll down below this, you're going to start seeing a series of screenshots. These screenshots will be in this document. And if you need to show anybody what that button looks like, remember that you can go to this document, share the document, and you can show people what that screenshot looks like. You don't have to just describe it. This one is describing the Ask for Help button. This button will be visible if you are in a breakout room and you need to ask for help. So this is something that you need to make clear specifically to the presenters themselves. Okay. If that presenter doesn't know how to call for you, okay, then you have to make sure that they do know, at least for that poster presentation, because they might say, hey, my sharing isn't working or whatever like that. And a whole bunch of others here. The breakout rooms, for example, for most people who have larger computers, the breakout rooms icon will appear as a normal breakout rooms kind of Rubik's Cube icon. But if your window is not very wide, it will appear as the generic three dot button. And that 3-dot button will include both the record button and the breakout rooms button. Okay. A whole bunch of other screenshots will be included in there as we find them. If you think that you need one yourself, feel free to either take it and include it yourself or to ask one to be sent in for you. But in all of these things, even though I'm showing this for you right now, please take the time to, especially if you have a secondary device, to set up a Zoom meeting by yourself or maybe with some friends and practice, practice, practice. This was my big thing back in April. And I was telling people, you know, before you start doing Zoom classes with real students, practice, practice, practice. So take the time to practice. Bertalinda, how are you? Good to see you. Your question? Bertalinda? Nope. Okay. I believe.
Sorry, I'm talking all the time. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You were muted. You got to remember about the mute button.
Yes, there was a question. So I'm using Mac, and there I know the breakout rooms. What do I have to explain to the PC users? I missed that. How can they find the breakout room?
Oh, so to find the breakout room is very simple. So for example, right now, I'll share my screen. The breakout rooms are still available. Bertalinda, look at the bottom of your Zoom window.
Yes, there is the sign breakout room.
That's all they need to know. So they click on that and they'll see that window that I was showing before, where if they're on a Windows machine, they will see the join button immediately. They can click that join button to go specifically to the presentation that they want to join.
Ah, that's all.
Do you want
Okay.
me to show
That's
it,
basically
Jose?
it.
I can show on a.
I'm sorry, who was that?
You want me to show it? I can show on a PC if you want.
Actually, that would be good. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you're capable. I don't know who is talking.
It's Blair. Sorry, Blair.
Blair. Yeah, Blair. Go ahead. You can share now. Yep.
Yeah, sure. I can show it. So if you see, just press the breakout rooms, and then I have a choice to join.
Yep. See that join button is immediately available.
Mm-hmm. So it's the same sign.
It's the same sign.
Yes, the 4.
Oh, the same icon. Yeah, same icon. Yep, same icon.
The same icon.
But as I said, Blair, while you're sharing, can you make your Zoom window very narrow in width, please?
Sure. Just let me close that. Very narrow?
Uber narrow. Like really narrow. There. Now do you see that breakout rooms icon disappears?
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, I don't know, they might, but if they say, I don't see a breakout rooms icon, the possibility is they've made their window so narrow that the breakout rooms icon has now merged into the more button. That more button has to be clicked, then breakout rooms has to be clicked.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Thanks, Blair.
No problem.
Oh, thank you.
Question from Rab again. Rab, go, bud.
Yeah, it was just about that same joining issue. What happens on an iPad? I knew about the Windows Mac difference, but we might get some people coming in on an iPad. Is there anything to be aware of joining breakout rooms on an iPad?
Alex Burke, if you can open your mic. Are you on your iPad right now? I don't think there is. I think it's just your...
No, I'm not on my iPad right now. What I did find out from being at Pansig was that if you're on an iPad and you go to check a window, it looks like you're putting your hand up and to ask questions, and that was a bit of a surprise to people, and something I hadn't expected. So I'm planning to screenshot all of what the actual poster experience is going to be like from my iPhone and from my iPad and from my computer, and hopefully get a PC person to try with, or with an Android phone, to also test out what it's going to look like.
Can I ask Blair? Blair, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask you to help coordinate with Alex? Maybe you guys can exchange information during or after the meeting, so that you guys can coordinate, because you've got Windows, she's got Mac, she's got iPad, iPhone. Maybe between the two of you guys could figure out like what screenshots should be or can be made available by your teamwork.
Yeah, sure. I'm actually kind of curious because...
Alex, can I leave you to do that, to contact Blair about that?
She said sure. And
Good.
I've got the Android, so
Good.
on that.
And Rab, Rab, I wanted to mention too, as far as I remember, when user selectable breakout rooms first came out, I checked it out on my iPhone. And what it will be is when the iPhone is held vertically, the choose breakout rooms icon in the Zoom app will appear on the top left-hand corner. It'll be like a white bluish button. But again, there's nothing like practice. If you can get an iPhone or an iPad or whatever tablet you want, set up a meeting, join it with your iPad, and you'll see what it looks like. But if iOS is consistent, unfortunately, I don't have an iPad right now, but on the iPhone, it just shows up there in the Zoom window when the user selectable breakout rooms are opened. Okay. Next question is from Chris.
Yeah, quick question. The breakout rooms are currently live at the second in this meeting, correct?
Yes, correct.
If our screen is wide and we still don't have the button, could it be an update issue? We haven't updated the current version, because I don't have the breakout room.
Are you on gallery view? Are you on gallery? Sorry, Chris. Are you on gallery view right now, Chris?
I was, yes.
Could you go to gallery view for a second?
Yep.
How many people do you see across on one row?
5.
Then your window should be plenty wide enough to see the breakout rooms button.
Correct.
The breakout rooms button should also have the number 31, indicating the number of people up in the conference, the main conference area. You don't see that at all.
No, I use breakout rooms in my classes and stuff, but I'm not seeing it here.
You're not seeing it. What are you on a Mac? Are you on a Windows computer?
Windows.
You're on, any other Windows computer people can confirm that phenomena. Blair, can you see the breakout rooms? But you should.
Yeah, I
You
see
showed
it.
I saw Blair had the button when he shared the screen. So
Chris,
I don't
do
know.
you still?
It might be something with me.
Yeah, Chris, do you still?
I have the same issue. I have the same issue.
I think that was DJ saying he had the same issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that was me.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I have the same issue. I don't have an. Even when I shrink it, I don't see it. I have participants, chat, share screen, record, and reactions, and there is no breakout room down.
Could you make your windows, both of you, Chris and DJ, could you make them as wide as possible on your desktop?
Yeah, I've done that
and still nothing.
And made it extend over multiple screens.
Time, okay, so Sam?
Is it a update issue? What version?
Yeah, what's your version, Chris? Do you know?
I do not know offhand. Does it show me in here somewhere?
Okay, I'll show you. Okay, you should be able to see this here. Oh, so if you look at your icon down here for check for updates, click that and it'll tell you whether you're up to date or not.
Okay, then it's probably me, so I'll check it later. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry,
same
guys.
with you, DJ. What version are you on? Do you know?
So, could you show me that again? How to find the version?
Yep. Okay. You guys should really keep an eye on that, because coming up to the conference, if the version changes, you need to be able to do that well. Hang on just a second. I had to close that window. Okay. So let me close that one more time. The icon up here for the main Zoom window, that's your account icon. Check for updates. You good, DJ?
Yes.
Okay, click check for updates and it'll tell you if you need an update or not. I don't need an update.
The alternative is, depending on what type of computer you're in, you see up next to the Apple in the upper left for Jose's screen, which he just stopped sharing.
Sorry. Okay, keep going. I'll set it up, Jenny. Keep talking.
When you click on that drop-down menu for zoom.us about Zoom, it'll tell you exactly which version you're running.
The nice thing about check for updates, it will do both. It will simultaneously tell you what version you're on, and it'll give you the button to actually go grab the update.
Yes,
so
but
DJ,
it's possible that right now people who are looking can't find their Zoom window.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, because they're in a meeting right now. But that's something to keep in mind, that version is important, because if suddenly Zoom issues an update, like a major number update, like a 5.5 update or a 5.4.5 update, where there's a certain breakout room feature, a certain chat feature that will not be available until you update, you as a host should at least be up to the newest version.
Yes, so 5.3 is where the user selectable breakout rooms was initiated. So if your version is anything less than 5.3, you won't see that breakout rooms button, but we can put you in rooms. So any person who participates in the conference who is trying to get themselves into a breakout room but can't find it, you can move them yourself as the host, as long as you have the breakout rooms.
Right.
Yes. Of course, the problem is he can't see it, but once you're up to date beyond 5.3, this is.
Can we ask Chris to share his screen so we can all kind of see what he's not seeing?
What he's
Chris
not
had
seeing is the breakout
5.2.
rooms icon.
No, I'm seeing probably the exact same thing that you're seeing, just down at the bottom next to the. It's usually next to the record button. There's no breakout rooms button. That's the only thing.
Just to, sorry, because the conversation is getting a little bit long on this. Chris and DJ, you guys have to check what version you're on. Chris, did you check what version you're on?
Yeah, I typed in the chat, but I'm on 5.2.1, so
that's
I'm
it.
behind.
Okay.
Yep.
DJ, you've got to be something behind 5.3, and you're muted.
Okay, again, how do I check? I can't seem to find that how you check the version.
Okay, hang on just a second.
DJ, can you share your screen?
Yeah, actually, I can help you with that. If you can share your entire desktop, Okay. Oh, wait, no, I can't see it. That's right. Okay, I haven't gotten onto that topic yet in the protocols list. Okay, DJ, I'm going to kill your screen share. Okay, I'm going to go back to your original
Actually,
request.
DJ, it just popped up on your screen share. You have 5.0.1.
Holy crap, that's old. Okay, that goes all the way back to June. Okay, there you go. DJ, you have to update your Zoom, okay? DJ, you okay? Yeah, okay, you're good. Okay, give me a thumb. You're the thumb. Okay, good. Okay, so let's keep going, everybody. Unless there's a, oh gosh, I got a question here from Rab, or is that just a sort of a vestige of a hand up?
It was basically another thing. Forget it. Go back to it at the end if there's time.
All righty. Okay, here we go. Back to things. Let's see. A few other things. So there's some of those screenshots. And here, if I didn't talk about this in the last meeting, there is still a possibility that we could have intruders into these meetings. And I think I did talk about this a bit. If I didn't, basically that's the protocol right there. You need to be alert for this sort of thing, and you need to have a pen and paper handy so that then you can tell yourself, hey, that guy seems to be like making a problem with disruptive chat, or he's got an intrusive sort of looping video in his background, or just you find somebody performing suspect behavior. Number one, write the name down. Okay, now maybe it'll turn out to be nothing, so you write somebody's name down, you just crumple up that paper. But you write the name down before you do something, and if you start addressing somebody and you haven't written the name down, you're in the huff of things, you might completely forget their name. But when you suspect somebody, write their name down, piece of paper, okay? Then you have to become judicious about this because it can come in a number of different ways. For example, one of the people in the meeting right now, Adam Jenkins, this is the one issue at PanSig that I can remember where we actually had a documented event of somebody trying to disrupt the meeting. During, well, Adam can tell the story. I don't know. Here, I'm going to stop the share here. Adam, you're there, eh, bud? You're not there? You're not
Yeah, I'm here. I just don't have my camera enabled at the moment.
You want to tell that story just real quick?
Sure. So what happened was there was a meeting, PanSig session was just about to start, and somebody came in and started telling everybody to leave the room. Clear the room, the presentation's over, clear the room, and it was just about to start. So they were chasing away the guy's audience. And so I said, sorry, but who are you? Please identify yourself. You have 5 seconds or you'll be ejected from the room. Waited 5 seconds and ejected. And that was it. And the person's ID was just CCCCC or something like that. So it wasn't anything terribly big, but yeah, that happened.
So there obviously somebody was planning to be a dick. He hid his name, okay, went in there and knew he was about to be shot out, is probably giggling and tittering under his breath as he was being warned. So he was shot out, and that's to him was like a really purposeful afternoon. But for you, it's probably going to be a really annoying afternoon, so you just got to be ready for that sort of thing. You will also be looking for people with intrusive virtual backgrounds. My personal experience was not a conference, but it was a Saturday session at OTJ. Someone came in, and I think they were planning to Zoom bomb the meeting, but because I had my security fairly tight, that's why nobody can share screens in my meetings unless I allow them to. He had a looping video as a virtual background, I think to actually, it looked like a commercial. Like, I think it was trying to sell like kitchen utensils. So this was a commercial for kitchen utensils looping over and over again. And somebody mentioned this guy's background is really, really annoying. And I said, could you identify yourself? And could you please turn off that virtual background because it's being very, very annoying to people. And within 5 seconds, he left. That's the sort of thing you're looking for. Other things that are not necessarily purposeful are people who are, maybe they left their mics open. So you got to be ready with your mute button. People who have virtual backgrounds that start to strobe because the lighting in the room, the virtual background starts to go dark and light and dark and light. You might want to, give them a chat and saying that's kind of a distracting background. I don't know if you want to turn off your camera, please. You're going to have to sort of figure out what is a good judicious call on that sort of thing. But those things, I think, are going to require first your alertness, and two, basically your sense of judgment. But you can ask, and I'll tell you what I would do in that situation, but I can't tell you what to do in every situation because there's too much here that's new. Blair?
Yeah, can the intruders rejoin?
If you throw them out, no.
Okay.
That's why I think some people will leave first before they go out. And because the guy's name was CCC in Adam's case, there's no way to report that. You know, like, how do you report something like that? But if you kick them out, no, they will not be able to rejoin.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Mary.
Remind me again just how to kick somebody out.
Okay. Share screen. Right here. Let's see. Sorry, Donna, your name just happens to be near my cursor. Okay. Remove. Right there. Okay. Report. I don't know if it'll really help because anybody who's being a real dick is probably going to hide their name or use a fake account. But that will allow you to, oh, sorry, I'm just going to close that. That will allow you to report that person to Zoom itself, not to us. That's why you have to write that name down so then you can tell us in Slack, hey, somebody by this name was being a dick in my my meeting, so please keep an eye out for that name. Only a moron who's also a dick would actually use the same name again. So I don't know if that's going to be useful for anything. Okay. Rab?
Yeah, this is just a small tip. I don't know how many people will be able to make use of this, but I have two 27-inch monitors and I don't have my Zoom mirrored. So if the presenter is doing a screen share or whatever, everybody else, the little gallery of the things that people look at gets really squashed and you can't see everybody on the one page. But because I've got it non-mirrored, I have the screen share in one and the full gallery of everybody else on the other. So it makes it easier for me monitoring the chat and monitoring up to about, I think about maybe 30 people in one window. So you have a much better chance of spotting anything like that going on if the presenter is screen sharing and this is something that's going on in the background. But you would actually need two monitors to do that. So some of you who have got a laptop and a monitor, you could connect your laptop to the monitor and split it into the two. Whereas I've got the laptop as a third one if I need it. But if you do have those two monitors, it makes checking that stuff while watching the presentation so much easier.
Or computing in general that much easier. Blair, you're muted, dude.
Sorry, that was from before.
Okay, vestige.
That was from before. I'll put it down.
No problem. No, I got you. Okay. Anybody else before I continue? All righty. Promise that this is not going to take us into 9 o'clock. Watch me break that promise. Okay, we scroll down. I have a few things, again, speaking from experience, and I've grabbed a few screenshots because these were mentioned at previous squad leader meetings. Learn to use the space bar for quickly muting and unmuting yourself, but you have to set this, okay? This is your settings panel under audio, okay? That's so small. Press and hold space key to temporarily unmute. That button has to be clicked, and when it is, then you can use your space bar. So what you do is you mute yourself. You can try it right now. You do that setting. I think it'll automatically kick in as you do it. And when you mute yourself, then you can hold your space bar. So for example, if I'm there, now I'm just holding my space bar down. Okay, and it's really handy when you're a host, because sometimes when you're a host, you just want to say one sentence. Like, okay, Rab, 5 minutes until the end of your presentation, sir. Then back to mute. And that is just so much faster when you have the space bar. Now, if you want to talk for a long time, it's part of a discussion. Yeah, you want to completely unmute yourself. But I still see some people right now fumbling to find the mute button. Now, Robert, before we get to your question, one reason for that is because some people are still not used to the Zoom interface. And if you look down a little bit more, okay, here's another handy thing. In general, if you always show the meeting controls toolbar at the bottom will always be visible. And you orient yourself so much more quickly as to where the mute button is, because then you don't have to wag your mouse over your Zoom window just to get your toolbar to appear. Your breakout rooms icon will tell you that there's somebody waiting in the conference room. Your record button itself it's very easy. It's much easier to hit the pause button and the stop button because everything is visible. So those two settings, I would put them in right now. Okay, Robert.
These settings that you're talking about are through the web interface.
No, sir, they're here. They are in your Zoom settings. So for example, in the Zoom window right now, you see my mute, my microphone icon. Another way to get into that really quickly, you see that upward pointing arrow icon? Click that and you'll see the audio settings selection. Click that and you actually go to the main settings panel. Now, of course, you just ask for audio settings, so you're there first. But here you can get the general settings where you will be able to show, where is it? Show your meeting controls right there. Or also to, I believe it was video, where you can, no, it wasn't, what was, not because it's another part of things. Audio, where you can press and hold space key to temporarily unmute. Okay, so I'll show you that one more time. In the Zoom window, in a Zoom meeting, if you're already in a meeting, go to find your microphone icon, upward pointing arrow, click audio settings at the bottom, and you're going to go to the total settings panel. We good, Robert? Oh.
Yes, we're good.
Okay.
I'm using the space bar right now.
Excellent. Okay, I believe that's the bulk of what I wanted to talk about tonight, but let me just double check if there was anything else. No, there isn't anything else. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. That document is still very much a work in progress. All documents inside the room host's documents folder are works in progress. The scheduler works in progress. Please be patient with us. There's a lot of work to be done. A lot of this stuff we're having to make it up as we go along. We have to talk to each other about what to do. Your input is not just wanted. It is something that is very important. So when you have questions, don't just say, oh, that's a dumb question, I don't want to ask that. Please ask the question. Please ask the question in chat. If you have me on Facebook, you can find me in Facebook under JOSESENSEI, Jose Sensei. But I'm in Slack. You can always contact me there. And any questions to me or to Jenny or to any of the room host coordinators are more than welcome. They are necessary. We wish to have, we hope, another room hosts meeting sometime next week. But if you cannot make it, I totally understand that. For the people who have already been here twice, that's a really fantastic ask, and thank you very much for responding. But the room host meeting that we want to have, that we have already set, is the daytime alternative meeting. Now, the daytime alternative meeting for your friends, or for you, if you wish to come again to ask any questions, if you have the time, will be on Tuesday at 12:30. This is already notified in Slack. But the things that it will cover are actually what we have already talked about in the past two meetings. This is for people who want to just touch base with the room host coordinators and say, yeah, I saw the videos and I just wanted to see you again and I had a question. But it will probably not cover anything new. If we feel that there is something new, or we talk about it right now and you guys want us to give you another training session like this one, maybe next Thursday, I think that would be good, or whatever the day of choosing is. It seems like these meetings seem to be on the weekends, but if you'd prefer them to be on a weekday night, that would be fine too. So I'd like to take a bit of a poll right now. So if you slide open your participants list, I would like you to raise your hand if you think that you want another room host meeting.
Or yes.
Or yes, if you're somebody who co-hosts. And actually, they're disappearing and coming back. Okay. And Mary wants one. Okay, so that's one more number. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this stuff, like, remember, you can contact us very, very quickly through Slack, and we'll answer your questions there. And from here, we'll be putting information in the protocols. And I also, too, if it doesn't seem to be a very popular idea, but you know, you can always contact me, and you can set up a time to talk with me in Slack, and of course, I'll answer your questions as best I can. But from here, if there isn't going to be a general meeting, what Jenny and I were thinking is that if there's new information, we're going to make like basically a video and put that on Slack and say, okay, this video is about this part of the protocol. We've changed it. So we want you to pay attention to it. And we'll put that video out. The video is probably about 15 minutes, 10 minutes at a time, and it'll address specific things. Otherwise, we will make the decision that, oh no, that protocol is pretty clear. And I think as long as we tell everybody on Slack that they can ask us questions there, we don't need to make a video. The video will be necessary as we decided they will be. But it looks like right now, not everybody's really, really excited about the idea of another late night meeting like this. So we'll hold off on that. Okay.
Real quick before Jean-Pierre, Bill asked about presenters meeting, presenters training.
Presenters.
I was just going to ask about that too. I was going to suggest that it might be a good idea to just sit in as an observer at that presenters meeting.
I was about to say that. That's a good point, Linda. The date of the presenters meeting. The presenters meeting, which is something that we did at PanSig. The presenters meeting will be Tuesday night, this coming Tuesday night, the 10th. That's at 7 p.m. That will also be on Eventzilla. And yes, I would be very, very happy to see as many room hosts there, especially, if you still have any remaining questions, that would be a good place to take me aside, maybe during or after, and say, Jose, I had a question that came up. But there you get to meet your presenters. You get to see the questions that they have, the things that they might ask you, their level of expertise. I'm sure the level of expertise will be up and down. Some people will be like us. They're very good with Zoom. Or some people, literally, I was having this discussion with Alex. You could have a perfect storm of inexperience, which is someone who's never done a conference presentation before, someone who's never touched Zoom because they've only ever done Google Classroom or Big Blue Button, and someone who is maybe not even a native English speaker. This is somebody that you're going to have to be particularly not careful, but you want to make sure that you give them what they need. Okay, so all of those things can happen, all the way up to somebody like Linda or somebody like Grant, who's very, very good with this stuff. So it would be good for you to go there. Linda.
I was at a presentation this morning with the presenter. It was her first time doing anything on Zoom, and she did surprisingly well, but she didn't know how to get the computer sound that she wanted through her video she was trying to play. And that was easy to talk her through, and the presentation went well. So hopefully Zoom is a little more familiar to everybody now than it was back in June. And we won't have a lot of trouble.
And I'll try to make that checklist very clear, and I'll write it from the perspective of a host who has never done this before, working with a presenter who has never done this before. Carlos?
And then Jean-Pierre, because he has his hand raised because he's a co-host.
Oh, got it. Okay. Do you want me to remove your co-host, Jean-Pierre?
Yes.
Carlos?
I'm not sure if I'm opening up a can of worms by asking this, but did we decide on what happens when people go into breakout rooms? Who records them? How are they being recorded?
Thank you very much. I forgot to mention that. Okay, so, sorry, just dropped my mouse. Here's the issue. Only the people in that room can record what happens in that room. It's that whole, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So if you are not in the room, even though you might have thought, okay, well, I'll record up at the top conference level, you will only see yourself. So you have to tell the poster presenters themselves, once they get in there, to immediately hit the record button. Okay. And that record button, Jenny, I think it's best that they record to their own computer at that point, right? Or should they record to the host? Because if they record to the host, I'm sorry, they record to the cloud, they're recording to their own cloud.
They are recording to their own cloud. I mean, they can record to wherever, but if they're giving us that recording, they just have to be able to send it to us somehow.
Yeah.
We don't have a repository Dropbox for that just yet, but we will.
Okay. So
Wink,
this is
wink,
what
nudge, nudge, reminder to Wayne. He's not here, but.
So this is what we'll do, okay? We will make a protocol, we'll write it up, but basically the idea is that the only person who can do that recording in the poster presentations is the presenter themselves. When they go in, remind them, and you might want to check, run through all 8 rooms, quickly make sure they're being recorded as the rover host, the rover of the pair. Check to make sure they're all being recorded. And then when it ends, make sure that you go in there again and remind them, by the way, you have the recording, and here's the protocol we'd like you to follow to send it to this. It's probably going to be like a Google folder, on a publicly accessible Google folder. Please send it there, and we'll write that all up for you. But basically, the recording will have to be done by the poster presenter themselves. Okay. Okay, Jean-Pierre.
I know that everyone's really busy and tired, but if you're feeling maybe a bit unconfident about your role as a room host, the first 4 days, the 16th to the 20th, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the conference, there are not many events going on, maybe like 10 or 12 a day, especially in the late afternoon or evening. So as room hosts, we could maybe just go as a participant and see what's going on and get a feel for it. And then on Friday, things get busy, and on Saturday, things get super busy. You won't have a chance to practice or get a better view again. So if you have some free time on the 16th, 17th, 18th, or 19th, I strongly maybe suggest, even though we're all very tired, even go into one session and to see what it's like.
And just to reference what he's mentioning, here is Monday's schedule. You can see that there's not a whole lot going on. If you count the blues, there are 10, I believe. So, yeah.
And if you want to practice, call me up on Slack and I'll say, oh, yeah, sure. I'll pretend like I'm an idiot audience member and you've got to, like, you know, hold my hand, which isn't that hard for me to do. Berlinda.
Right. So now I know it. Where is there a file where we can find the host protocol or what we have to say?
Okay, so Berlinda, you were here last meeting, right? I think I showed you where the room host documents folder is.
Didn't know.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. Room host.
I will drop that link in the chat.
Thank you, Jenny. Could you take care of that then? That's great.
Yep.
Okay, I'm on Slack right now.
You're on Slack right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll drop it in.
Jenny will take care of that for you, Berlinda.
Okay.
I'll DM you.
And oh, sorry, Pat.
Okay, this is going back to the poster presentations.
Yes, sir.
But because of the nature of it, using the breakout rooms and people can come in freely and leave freely, I think recording that you're going to get in butting up against consent again.
So thank you for pointing that out. I'll write that up. I better write it down first. But basically, as one of the pair at the top, you remind people as they're coming in, by the way, this is all being recorded. And if you want to go into that poster room, please turn off your camera now. Please change your name now. So give them that same spiel that I gave at the beginning of this meeting. But you got to give it to everybody who comes in. So
okay,
this is another thing.
As the squatter, the non-mover person in the poster session, you would in fact be on repeat for that. Perhaps even if you wanted to do that Zoom background.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you this now. This is an idea that
Could we make a background green screen?
Linda, I'm gonna cover that just right now. Sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't want to take up too much more time than I needed to. So let me come back here. Where should I go?
And yes, while Jose is talking out loud, yes, poster presenters may not want their posters recorded, and that is perfectly fine. Every session has that option to opt out of having their session recorded. So we may not even have the issue of trying to get the posters recordings if they're like, you know what, never mind, I don't want it. So that's always an option.
If you look in your room hosts folder document, you'll see these two movies, okay? Now these two movies show me actually manipulating the breakout rooms. And what I originally planned to do with them is to set them up so they could be run as virtual backgrounds behind the poster presentation. But I realized I made a mistake because I actually left my image in there. And this is what it looks like if it's got my image in it. It's very disorienting because now there's like two of me. So that's just not going to work. But if you had something like this, which is what I use with my students when I tell them to how to change their names, this will show a loop saying, or maybe just a static image that says all poster presentations are being recorded. Before you enter and you are concerned about it, please turn off your camera and change your name. So that can be running as a virtual background at all times at the top level of the poster presentation. Okay. What do you think, Pat? Do you think that would? I think that would probably solve it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think as people come in, just say they may be recorded, and then that can cover the ones that are not recorded too.
Yep, that's a good point. Yep.
Also mention something.
Go, Bill. Of course.
Yeah, I think when you pay for the Zoom, pay for Jolt, one of the bits in the fine print is that we are going to be taking photos. It's meant for the in-person conference. But we're going to be taking photos and use them for publicity. So your participation here means that, you agree to this. So, if people want to turn off their cameras, that's fine. But they have basically agreed to be photographed. But one thing we have to be clear of, though, is that when there's a photographer, it's a photographer. So
right.
In this case, we're not allowed to take surreptitious screenshots of people and say that's for publicity. I think we'd have to tell them. That's exactly what Jose's protocol does, is tell them that this is happening, right?
I think if we're going to be taking any kind of screenshots for publicity purposes, we should probably have another layer of consent on that. Say, hey, we're going to take a screenshot now, and this is going to be published somewhere on website, newsletters, the language teacher, etc. Because it's a completely different thing than I might be in passing on some kind of YouTube video.
There are suggestions in the chat, and Bill just mentioned that you've actually just signed to this acceptance when you purchased your ticket. But remember, there are always situations where people will say, well, I never read that. I didn't know that. And so what are you going to do at that point, right? People are still going to complain. So you've just got to be ready in that case. And the best way is to prevent the entire situation by doing something like what Jean-Pierre is doing, and say that these presentations are being recorded, and to adjust that and to keep it behind you. And so as soon as somebody comes into the top level, they have to get into the top level before they go into the bottom level. Greet them, say hello, how can I help you? The presentations are going. Oh, and by the way, some of them will be recorded by some of the poster presentations. Please be aware of that, and please turn off your camera. Make it a spiel, make it like a routine for everybody that you meet. It'll be running as a virtual background behind you, and it should be fairly covered, because you're going to get like 4 or 5 at the very beginning, 4 or 5 people at a time suddenly running in, and maybe you won't even have time to say hello to them because they already know what to do because they were in a poster presentation yesterday. Just go in, jump in, hit the join button. You won't even have a chance to see their name maybe. But we did everything we could. As long as we do everything we can, then we've got our bases covered, right? Pat, are we good there? So Jenny.
Yes. If everyone looks at Jean-Pierre's screen, he's got what we're referring to. If Jose could pin him, that would be, or can you spotlight him for a minute?
Spotlight.
Yo. So.
You look really cold, Jean-Pierre.
So hopefully that helps give you an idea of what we're talking about if everything that we've been mentioning about backgrounds did not make sense. Someone posted, but they don't have their name specified, that their computer is too old and can't do backgrounds. If you can tell me who you are, that would help me out a lot. I don't know.
Just open your mic right now, whoever wrote that.
That's me, Shalana.
Ah, okay. Thank you. I will not put you in posters.
Where's Jean?
I have the same problem.
Who was that? Sorry.
Adrian.
Ah, okay. Adrian. Got it. Anyone else want to tell me now?
Yeah, please tell us now.
I don't know how to make such a background.
I will make the background for you, Mary, and I will make a video to show you how to enter it. Okay?
Thank you.
I will be making that. I mean, it's got to be a consistent background. So Jean-Pierre is just showing you proof of concept, but I'll actually be making it, and it'll have a nice logo and shit like that.
And
sorry, I swear, I turned into a potty mouth at night.
I know that Linda had mentioned in the past that the white background is really, really blinding.
Yeah, it is.
So keep that in mind too.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to be probably making it probably closer to something like that.
Dark mode.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to talk about, well, maybe not right now, but okay, I'll just make it really quick. Who's sharing that? Okay, it's
That was me.
Okay, so here we go. We're done. Okay, so let me just very quickly go back to my document under, where is it? Because I've lost track here. Okay.
And we totally lied. We're totally going till 9.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, where is it? Where's dark mode? It's somewhere in here. Ah. Somebody see where, okay, I'll just talk about it, all right? And I'll talk about it and I'll show you. Some of you are probably wondering why my computer windows are all so dark. Well, if you've been complaining in any way at all about screen fatigue, it's probably because you've been spending the day looking at all of these really bright windows on your computer. That is not at all good if your concern is screen fatigue. Now, I can only talk about this on the Macintosh, but on the Macintosh, okay, under displays, wait, is it displays, Linda? Where is it? Is it general?
It's under general.
Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, actually, because you might forget, in a Macintosh, if you go to the control panels and you just put dark mode into search, it'll find general for you. General will tell you where you can click dark mode. You turn that on, you will find immediate relief, immediately. Like, for example, Jean-Pierre, turn off your virtual background for just a second. Everybody take a look at his virtual background, see how white it is. And then as he turns it off, takes a second, he has to go into his accounts and stuff like that.
Well, he's doing that.
There, now, see how much better that feels? And actually, we have an expert on this in Alex Burke. She will tell you that also for the neurodiverse, it's better to write with light letters on a dark background as opposed to dark letters on a white background. So the screenshots I give you, the backgrounds that I give you will be of a dark type. Now, if you go to dark mode, or if you use night shift on a Macintosh or their equivalents on Windows, what will probably be a very busy weekend for you of staring into a computer probably will not be so fatiguing if you go into dark mode. Now, the one problem that you will have is your browser windows. The browser window itself is relaying to you the design that was built by the web designer was probably thinking not of a dark theme. But there is a way to actually turn that over. And let me see. I wish I could find a specific link. If anybody has already seen it and can tell me where it is, because it's actually in the room hosts training. Okay, and then
find on your document.
Oh, there you go. I see I'm losing it. Okay, Night Eye. There it is. Okay, so stop share. We'll make this a little bit smaller for you. So in room host training on about the middle of page 6, okay, I recommend to everyone to, and I believe there is a Firefox version and a Chrome version for both Windows and Macintosh. It doesn't matter, but I run it on Safari. It is a piece of software called Night Eye, and it goes into your browser, okay, and it takes any website that you tell it to do. Like, for example, this is Google Docs, but I told Night Eye to send this into dark mode. Now watch, I'm going to put it to normal, and you're going to find that world of pain that occurs when it suddenly becomes bright. And you can feel it. When you send this back to dark mode, that will really alleviate a lot of your screen fatigue. I would really suggest that for you, especially if you start finding yourself very, very, very tired. And for some of us, you know, you might have like 3 sessions, maybe 4 sessions in one day. Probably that's because you're a room host coordinator, not a regular room host. Something that I would suggest. Yeah, thank you very much, Adam, reminding me about dark mode.
Okay. Pat, do you still have a question? And Blair, you wanted to comment on backgrounds?
Pat. Oh, it's a no.
That was a JK. Didn't lower my hand.
Blair.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm usually in gallery mode, so I find the backgrounds are really tiny. So I was just gonna, you know, screen share a PowerPoint slide instead.
I'm sorry.
He was just going to screen share instead of doing a virtual background, and that would force everyone to see that screen.
Yeah, when you're in gallery view, the backgrounds can be really tiny.
Yeah, that's true. That's
so, you know, if you just you do a screen share, it's quite obvious.
On the other hand, in a poster presentation, okay, probably there'll only be 5, maybe 4 people at a time in the room before they actually go to join the posters. They're not there to talk to the room hosts. They're there to be told how to get to the poster presentation, probably 4 or 5 of them at a time. But if you want to do that, that's fine too. That's fine too. Yeah.
I actually think that makes more sense. They don't really need to see you or anyone else who's in the room. You just need to be able to instruct them where to go and how to get there. So having that be the main screen as opposed to you.
But if you don't mind, Blair, I'm going to make that actual virtual background available as a JPEG. So if you can screen share that particular JPEG, because it'll have the Jolt logo on it, it'll be a nice consistent look. That's what I would actually prefer that you share.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, thank you. But that's a good point. Thank you very much. And thank you for pointing that out, Jenny. More questions? Pat, you have your hand up again.
This time it's for real. So
This
is just going to kind of Blair's comment about the gallery view, everything looking really small. So in that case, what'll probably be helpful is using the spotlighting. So because you have no control over how other people set up their screens, but if you set your screen or somebody else's screen as spotlighted, everybody's forced to look at that in a larger size.
By the way, this is in the recordings, but I may as well, while we're on the topic, is that a new feature that came out with 5.4 is called multi-spotlight. So for example, if I wanted to spotlight Pat, I could spotlight him. But let's say he's part of a presentation team, okay, and Grant is one of the other team members, I can add him to the spotlight. So now all of this presentation team will be spotlighted specifically, and that will not vary. Like, I'm the one speaking right now, but they're the ones that are big for everyone. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that if I remove the spotlight here, that we can do up to 6 spotlights, but the last spotlight has to be removed. Can you raise your hand, Pat, again, so you can come up to the, I don't have to search for you. No, I mean on Zoom. Oh, there you are. Okay, so I can get his spotlight removed if I find his name. So you have to find his name, and then you, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm on Grant. Okay, then he went way up to the top. Sorry. And then I can remove his spotlight. Okay, but you have to do it in the participants list at the very end. Okay, thank you, Pat, reminding me about that. But that's in this recording, and that was in the other recording too for the room hosts. Other questions, everyone? Throw them at us.
It's late. We know.
And DJ, sorry, DJ and okay, let's go with DJ first.
Okay, I was just I don't know if this has been answered, but when we are saving these recordings to the cloud, where are we saving? Is this automatically done by Zoom account that we sign into, or
yes,
do we have to choose? Oh, I see. So we don't have to worry about that.
You don't have to worry about it. Only people who I contact will have to worry about it. So you're good.
So we just say save to cloud and it's done automatically.
Yep. And then when the meeting ends, okay, you just end the meeting normally. Okay, you don't have to worry about it sitting in your computer being compiled. It's being compiled on the cloud. Okay. Okay, Kinsella.
Okay, a very short question. So we can go ahead and update to version 5.41.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Carlos.
Previously you had shown like the Monday schedule, and you said, you know, this is not a very filled schedule, but you said, you know, and then somebody else said that like Saturday looks like an explosion. Would it be possible to just kind of get a look at what that Saturday schedule looks like?
Jenny? Well, she decides, I'm going to go pee.
If it's an issue, I don't want to.
I'm gonna show you something a little different. Jean-Pierre, is it okay if I show them what the block schedule for?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Thank you.
People, those names are still kind of, well, no, they're not. They're out to public yet. Everything's public.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure they're public, but I'm just gonna double check with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Zoom window. Sharing. Here you go. Okay. So, for those who are curious about how Saturday looks, you can see the multitude of things. Hi, Jean-Pierre, what's up?
Could you start at 9:30?
Yes. So here we've got a plenary. Okay. So no one has any other sessions, and actually Phil Nguyen will be taking care of this for us, so that's great. But you can see there is something down there and lots of things, and you can see that things kind of span different sets of times. So when you compare that to what I had going on for Monday, for example, it's a very different game. It looks very different. Sorry, I've got to move this because the screen thing is in the way. But yeah, so this is why Saturdays looks a bit more chaotic than Mondays. Just because there will be so many more going on at the same time. So like these chunks of time here, if you look, you can see that they're not all equivalent. This is 15 minutes and this is 30 minutes and this is 15, that's 15. These worked out to either 15 or 30-minute chunks of time, but then I got this weird like until 2010. These are actually based off of when the presentations end, and they accommodate for those different weird fluctuations in time. There will be a whole lot more of those on Saturday, and that's why until it's actually final, I don't want to show you because some columns look really weird and some look okay.
Trust us when we tell you it's an explosion. It's like boom, like work. Okay. But that work is mostly on the very capable shoulders of Jenny Crittenden and Alexandra Burke. So I'm not too worried about
Can
it.
I just one more question?
Go.
When a session ends,
yes,
do we end it, or does Zoom automatically end the session?
We end it. We have to hit that end button.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's Carlos still. Okay, and next. Oh, Jean-Pierre. Oh, nice background, dude.
So speaking to what Carlos just asked, so the schedule is tight. So if something ends at 12:20, it's 12:20. There's a last question, and then as host, we're going to say we're ending this session now, or what are we going to do? People want to chat. People want to chat.
If people want to chat, we will specifically direct them to the reception. And that way they can continue their conversation all they want in a room that's open all day long, but we can close that room and kick them out of there so that we can get the next one set up and started and ready to go for our next presenter.
But let me give you an example of how I would shut down a presentation. So let's say that the presenter actually did their presentation. So they said, well, thank you very much. That's the end of my slides. So I would turn on my microphone again. Okay, everyone, if you are muted, I would like to invite you to unmute yourselves so that we can give our presenter, Jean-Pierre, a round of applause. Everyone, Jean-Pierre, round of applause. Yay, Jean-Pierre. All right, now, if the presenter wanted to have question and answers at this point, and now there's 10 minutes remaining, okay, question and answers. The protocol will be based on what you worked out with the presenter, if they wanted everything saved to the end, or if you've been feeding them questions up to this point, or if they said, no, Jose, you know what, just tell the audience to just unmute their mics and just hurl their questions at me, whatever the presenter wants. The 10 minutes of question and answer passes, and you say, well, thank you, everyone. This is pretty much the end of the presentation. Could you unmute your mics one more time, and we'll give Jean-Pierre another round of applause. Yay, again. And thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference. This room will now be closing. Recording will end with you, and you say goodbye, unless you see something in the chat that says, Jose, could I talk to you, whatever, or the presenter wants to talk to you, whatever. So use your judgment, basically would be something like that. And that actually is documented in the link that I have in the room hosts protocol checklist, where I say that this is where I start and I end a meeting. You can take a look at that. That's basically what I do. Okay, Pat.
So,
oh, Jenny.
Real quick, I just mentioned something called the reception room, and I am super appreciative to those of you who are still with us at 9:15 at night from a 7 p.m. meeting. But if anyone is particularly social and does not mind volunteering to hang out in the reception room, oh, I would be ever so grateful for your assistance in volunteering right away. Basically, it is a room that you sit in all day, but not all day. I wouldn't put you in there all day, but you know what I mean.
For a while.
The room is open all day, and just as people come in, you say hello. They're chatting with you. If they want to talk to someone in particular, you can throw them into a breakout room and be like, enjoy your little party over there. And you're just there as like the face to greet people. It's a pretty low-key room host role because you're just kind of hanging out and you can do whatever you want. You would like that, Mary? Do you want to talk to people? You're muted, but
I'm most stressed about just starting a meeting. You know, it's
Okay.
kind of like I'm stressed that I will mess up and not get a meeting started on time. The presenter can't present. So what you're talking about sounds good for me.
Okay.
Okay, Mary and Shalane.
Shalana,
I
I
don't
saw
know if I'm-
that too.
Yep, they're already volunteering, so this is great.
This is great. And Jean-Pierre, I duly noted.
Yeah.
I will probably
Ah,
hang out in
Shauna,
the
sorry.
reception room. I'll hang out in the reception room a lot, probably. I
Linda
did
as
in
well.
Pansig.
And maybe you can offer if somebody has to go, you know, for a quick toilet break
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
Linda, you can offer that. Okay, Pat, you had, sorry, Robert, Pat.
Oh, that's just what I was going to ask about. So I should have
Toilet
put
breaks?
my hand down.
Okay, Robert.
Somewhat related. Actually, I don't know this. Are we gonna have like SIG breakout rooms? You know how like usually at the conferences we have SIG tables and chapter. No, we don't have chapter tables, but we have SIG tables. Are we gonna have those this year?
It would be in the reception room as those breakout rooms.
Right.
They would just be within those, and you could, the reception folks could do that and set that up. I mean, obviously, I could set
Because
that up.
none of my SIGs have actually brought that up, and I was just when you mentioned the reception room, I was thinking about why don't we have SIG rooms? I guess we have the AGMs, but that's about it.
Can I speak to that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mark Briley sent out a request to all SIGs. Do you want to have a table at the conference for some time or some hours? And some SIGs responded yes for this many hours on this day, but there's no general SIG room.
Okay.
So some SIGs have responded yes for a couple hours or maybe an hour, but there's no one particular SIG room yet.
Neither of my two SIGs have brought that up, so I was just wondering about it.
That's because they don't respond to Mark Briley's Microsoft Google Forms.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you to everyone who's been messaging me about coming on in. And yes, I think within our reception room, that would be the place that will probably stick those SIG rooms because it is a social hangout space. Sure, you can talk about work there too, but that's what it's for.
Okay, Pat.
Okay, just a little while ago, Bill put something in the chat about there were some complaints at Pansig that people wanted to just hang out in the room. And so I think having part of the wind up, the ending for the room, that if you would like to continue talking, let them know about the reception room. Have that be part of the spiel.
Yeah,
like,
but
normally we get a chance to go in the hallway or
I don't
something.
want to go to another room. And this,
Well, in that
And
case, that's where you pull out the okay boomer.
Yeah, but can't we just share a link to the reception?
Okay,
That's what I did. That's what I did.
You can indeed.
And say, here's the link to the reception. This room, check the chat. Okay, you've got 5. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.
That's a good
Yes.
idea.
Be the strong person and just go, yeah, okay, thanks, but here's the link. 3, 2, 1, bye. Mary?
What's your hurry? Here's your link.
Bye.
Mary.
So if I'm working with this in the reception room, a good idea would be for me to make breakout rooms that people can then just join in.
Yeah, that's
And then
That's
I
exactly
could,
what it is.
and then I could have them say, okay, you go to the breakout room. There's breakout room for SIG, something, 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 something. So
you got it.
And
Okay.
that job will be made far easier now that we have user selectable rooms back at Pansig.
Yeah.
Dawn actually had to push people around, and it was just total pain.
Okay.
Okay,
It was very
Andy.
much like, hey, I want to go here. And she's like, okay, hold on. Who was that?
Yeah. Okay, Andy.
Yes. You were talking about like if you have like one room and you have like back-to-back presentations. I don't know if there's like a 10-minute gap or so between
There is.
presentations.
What is it? It's a 15-minute gap, Jenny?
10.
10.
It's 10.
Yeah. So this time, unlike Pansig, there will be at least a little bit of time between meetings, between Zoom meetings. It won't be like Pansy was. They were just jammed right up against each other.
So earlier, maybe a different meeting, you said that the host should go to the room 10 minutes before the presentation begins.
Right.
And get things ready. So they might be there when the previous presentation is winding down.
Possibly. It's a possibility. It's unlikely because of that gap. And because these things are I'm just saying it's a possibility, right?
But to me, it seems quite possible that the next room host comes in 10 minutes before that meeting hasn't finished yet. So would you still want that the first presentation to end, or would just leave it open so the next host can continue it?
Well, no, like we said, there is a gap of time between actual presentations. So that gap
If that bleed over happens, Andy, and it's
Yeah.
clear that closing the room and reopening it would be a problem, then you would just claim host from the person who is the current room host. Ask anyone who's from the previous presentation who does not wish to see your new presentation to leave, because they'll just still be stuck in that room.
Right.
And then just go about it with your new presenter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If at any point in time we've got a bleed over problem, yes, stop the recording from the previous host. But of course, if that previous host leaves, the recording will stop as well.
I might just bring up one little thing that we did cover at Pansig as well on that, is that if you don't actually close the room, I believe that it actually just knits the two presentation recordings together, which can be a hassle later on. So it is actually, to my understanding anyway, essential that the room actually gets closed between each session. So bleed over must be avoided.
It's only going to do that recording thing of length if the person who started the initial recording never stops recording. But if we are two separate room hosts, then the person who was room hosting the previous one can stop the recording and the new one can start it.
It's possible that we might actually have two back-to-back sessions where
It is possible, and if you forget, you forget. We're human and it's all right. Just try to remember. But if you don't, maybe you can put a note in Slack to be like, hey, by the way, this is a double session. And then those of us who are working with the YouTube videos can know to split that, because splitting a video isn't the end of the world.
Great, thanks. Okay, thank you very much.
Robert.
Yes, if anyone needs to go, please go.
Please go ahead. I think the sequence is Robert's next.
Sorry, my hand's still up.
I'm good. My hand was still up from last time.
Okay, and then we have Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, I think there is going to be bleed over. I think that most sessions on Saturday and Sunday have just 10 minutes between them. And I think there will be bleed over. So I think that the room host has to be severe. The room host has to be severe and say, this meeting is ending. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Please go to the you have to be severe. Can we put that in the protocol? I think it has to.
I'll put it in the protocol, but I remember actually being extremely severe when I was host, but I will put it in the protocol. I'll write it down right now as soon as I tell Pat that it's his turn to comment.
Okay, together with that, I just thought having the protocol or in the checklist, physically having turn the recording off. So turn the recording off, we're closing the meeting, and then we don't have to worry about them being knit together afterwards.
Yep. I think though that, ending on time and starting on time, I mean, it's pretty sort of normal thing, but some people do talk a lot, but making sure that the thing is ended on time so that then it doesn't bleed over into the next one, that is important. And I did put that into the protocol. I'll just write it up a little bit more sharply next time. Linda.
I don't know if this is appropriate, but Donna's been having some trouble, and maybe you could just ask your questions now if you're having trouble, Donna.
Sure.
I rather than go over it again, because I was late, so and rather than having to watch the recording, I thought I would ask either because Alex had volunteered, and so I was going to ask just without taking up time in the meeting, because I think it's just the beginning part, how to get access. That's all. So I can get that from you later rather than. privately.
Yes.
Okay,
The
I
key
can do it.
that
I can do it
we-
real quick, Donna. I can do it real quick.
Okay.
But also,
Jenny.
the agenda. Sorry, I'm blipping.
I did that the other night.
Okay, you
That's
find
why
what
I
you're
was
gonna need,
saying
and I'm
maybe
gonna
later.
I'm gonna go
I'll
ahead
just talk
here. I'm gonna go
privately
ahead.
to somebody.
It's okay. Here we go, Donna. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You know how to get into the Zoom US website?
Yes.
Okay, so you've seen this login page before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I sign in with this JAL
Well,
2020.
not just this. Okay, this is an example of the account names that we will be using for the Zoom rooms that we've hired for this month. Okay, and the protocol says JAL 2020 room.
And the room number is the one I'm assigned.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that room number will be accompanied by a password that you will have access to in a Google document.
Okay.
We don't have access to that yet because we still have to figure out who's in squads and who's in what presentation. But once you have access to that, okay, you grab that from the Google document. And because you know that that's something that you have to do this coming Saturday or this coming Sunday, I would suggest that you put this into the website immediately, because even if you were to go in there, okay, if you have logged in once, it will remember. It will remember the password and will remember the login, and you can just go in. That's how you get in.
Oh, that's so simple. Got it. I waited all this time, but anyway, it was useful to see how to end a meeting and bleeding over and all that.
Oh,
That's
no, we wanted you to see that part. That was important stuff.
but
Okay,
yeah,
so Donna, you good?
yeah, it was like super simple.
Yep, it is. Blair. You are muted. You are very muted, Blair. Extremely muted, Blair. Blair can't hear a thing I'm saying.
I'm pressing the space bar.
Oh, you okay? Did you do
the
the setting? Did you do the setting though?
I probably had to click on the screen. Sorry.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah, it had to
You
be.
reminded me of the. You reminded me of the. Oh, I forgot the word.
It's okay. It's 9:30. We've all forgotten words.
Yeah, we're gonna have like groups. Are there going to be links to the groups in Slack? Squads.
Yeah, that'll be up to your squad leader, and that'll be up to the squad. If the squad wants to communicate by line, for example, why not? If the squad wants to communicate by FB Messenger because everybody's happier there, why not? If you want to be on Slack, that's fine. We'll open up a Slack channel for you. But first, I would talk to your squad leader, because it really should be something that's decided by the squad itself.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. Next, or are we done? My brain is done. But I want to thank you all for being here this long, and you're letting us doing your brain. And we're probably done for the night, unless there is something really pressing. If not, I remind you again, Slack, ask us there. I'm on Facebook as Jose Sensei, JOSESENSEI. And message me there. Email. Well, I don't know if you got Slack, right? And just keep those questions coming. We will then probably, okay, I'm still tentative on actual room host training, a new room host training meeting, but at least there's the alternative time in Tuesday afternoon. Let's see, and that evening, Tuesday evening, is the presenters meeting. Bertalinda, you had a question? And she's looking for the mute button.
Oh, sorry again. Yes, I was looking for the meeting Tuesday meeting 10th, 12:30.
12:30, right.
Right. Where is the Zoom information? Where do I get the information where it is?
The information for all of the training sessions that we do, Bertalinda, is through Eventzilla. So it will not be visible unless you actually look at the full schedule, and the live schedule will not be live until it's close to the meeting time.
It's important to know that the live schedule only shows live 10 minutes before the meeting starts. Otherwise, it'll never be visible.
You got here through Eventzilla, right, Bertalinda?
No, I've got the information about the Zoom, about the meeting ID from Slack. I couldn't connect to Eventslilla because I was too late. 1 hour late.
Too late? It wasn't showing it to you?
I was coming at 8 o'clock. I suddenly remembered that there was this meeting, and then I was not able to enter. I had to go over Zoom, and on Slack, I found the information, the meeting ID and the password.
That's
I
very
think
nice.
I think Grant shared it with her.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
He
Okay.
did.
But do you know how to get through to Eventzilla, Berlinda?
Yes, I
Okay.
was there.
So Tuesday afternoon, about 12:20, take a look at Eventzilla and it'll be there.
Okay.
Additionally, if you're ever struggling to get in through the live schedule, you can always go to the expanded schedule. And because we're before the conference, after the first two, which are reception and private VIP session, which doesn't mean anything, you
Don't know
can
why it's there.
see our list of sessions. I'll show you now so you can see what I'm talking about. Here you can see the sessions that we're in, so you can always click through on these. I know that what you see and what I see will be different. See, I see something different, but you will have a little box here. So you should be able to enter it by clicking this box, except for this meeting was supposed to end at 9, and so there will be no box for you.
I'm surprised though that Eventzilla actually did not let you see it even an hour later because it was still running. But I don't know. Might be-
There was no. Was I blind?
I don't know, but
I did not find the Zoom room. The Zoom room was gone. So this button for the Zoom room, but maybe I was blind for everything.
Were you viewing the full schedule or the live schedule? They're different.
I went into Eventzilla and I have seen that meeting, and I wanted.
Did it look like this?
Yes.
Minus this box. So you don't click here. You click up here. There'd be a box here.
And I clicked always the Zoom.
Yes, click up here. Click up here.
Okay.
I might actually request that we unlink this box, because for us it's helpful. Sorry, does that help, Mary?
Yes.
I know that this box is helpful for those of us who are trying to organize things, but for you, you would never really need to be like, what are all the Zoom 1 sessions? And then seeing all of the Zoom 1 sessions as this shows. That's not a helpful feature for our users. It's helpful for those of us who are scheduling, but that's it. So just as a heads up, always click up here, even though it's going to be a little green box or a little red box. I could probably find you one. Give me a moment. Here we go. Nope, can't click that. Why?
Okay, anyway, it's Berlinda's done it before. It's just
That
it-
box.
Yeah,
that
the
box.
one that doesn't
Yes,
have any
I've
text
seen
in it.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That box is the box that you want. You want that box. FYI, that's the box you want.
Okay. We're good.
No, at Hansik we have clicked on Zoom room something.
True. True. It is different this time around. Gary's been making some changes, but thank you for reminding me that I wanted to make that particular box unlinkable and the box next to it linkable. So, yes, I'm gonna write that down.
Bye, Jean-Pierre. Donna?
Yeah, you know, when you were trying to become a co-host, I couldn't do that. And so
You didn't leave the meeting and come back as Jolt 1.
Oh, is that why?
All of that stuff that we were doing needed you. That's why I spent time to do that, and it was difficult because you weren't able to come in. Yeah.
So I thought it was because I wasn't updated, but it's because I didn't leave. Okay.
It's
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
And so if I'm updated, then we can spotlight multiple people.
All of that stuff. Yeah, a lot of that stuff is really incumbent on your updating. So it's really important for everybody when you're done here. Maybe do it, before you go to
I have
brush
a
your teeth.
question about that because on my own account, it's, I went to Google and it says click near your name, right?
Oh, click.
And it shows it through Google. It says on your Zoom account, right click on the upper right hand side. Is that right?
Keep going.
And then it should have update. Well, mine doesn't show that at all. So the last time I had to update, I went to the Zoom website, and I guess it worked because, I was able to do these things. But
What-
this latest one, I'm wondering, because I went to the Zoom website itself, and it just
Blair, hang on, Donna. Blair, you're yeah, good. Yeah, there you are. How does one? Because I'm always thinking about this in terms of a Mac, and I thought the interface was the same. But on a Windows, do you use the same sort of procedure to get your updates? You go to the same buttons to
Yeah,
get
it is. Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay,
if
can you
like.
show Donna now?
It's exactly the same.
It should be exactly the
Here, I'll
same,
make
Donna.
this smaller just so you can see.
Right there, you see that icon of his avatar? Right there where it says check for updates.
yeah, I do that, but it doesn't have on mine.
Okay, so what do you have? Donna, can you share your screen right now?
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a minute, wait. It won't make any, if you haven't set the computer to show your Zoom windows, we can't see anything anyway. So I doubt that you've seen that.
That's my question. How do you do that?
Okay, that's, I don't.
Actually, can I show what she could do? Just to
Go,
confirm?
Blair, because I got to go grab.
If you just search in your Windows, just search your Zoom, you should get the Zoom app.
Search the
And
Zoom.
once you get the Zoom app, you should be able to see exactly this.
Go back again, like
Yeah,
when you
so
said.
if you're in Windows 10, are you in Windows 10?
Yes.
So you would just go to the bottom here and you would search at the bottom, just search Zoom. And the app should come up.
And then, okay.
And then you should
And
get
that
this window.
there.
And then you just click over your picture and go down to update.
So not on my own account.
No.
Not in the website. No.
No, it's on the app.
On the app.
Oh, okay. That solves it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the website itself does not update you because it's just a website.
Yeah.
What it's running is actually the app. So
The website just takes you to the app.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
for Adam. For Adam.
Adam, you
Okay.
wanted to see? Okay.
Yeah, here we go. All right. So you have to go again to your app settings. This is your app settings. Under general, should be third from the top, always show meeting controls. There's also a menu item, okay? But you may as well make sure that you know how to get to these app settings because a lot of people don't even know how to get to these app settings. You should know how to do that too. Okay, but it's in your app settings, general, third from the top, always show meeting controls. You can check that now if you want.
Yep.
And if you
mind if I'll do a screen share and see if I can do that. All right. Here we go. Desktop 1. Incoming. No. So all I've got is the Zoom panels. Everything disappears when I go into a screen share.
Did you check that button?
Yep. And I wish I could show you, but I can't.
Okay, it's okay. I believe you, but I don't know we'll have any time. I'm really looking forward to ending this meeting right now, but you might want to leave right now, come right back and see if it, leave, quit Zoom, restart Zoom, come right back and try it again because it might be a restart issue.
Oh, yeah,
Say,
be right
go
back.
ahead and make me host.
Bye. No, I'm staying to the end because there might be some questions, but I will now because there are obviously just sort of questions bouncing around here and there. I will say good night and say that this is the end of the meeting itself, but I will stick around and I will answer questions. Certainly, I will wait until at least Adam gets here. So, Bill, is that a question or are you just saying goodbye?
What's this JALT stand for anyway?
Jokers aligned longitudinally tomorrow.
Gotcha. I'm going to join that organization.
Yeah, they got good presentations.
But
no, I'm
only
sorry.
tomorrow.
Jokers aligned longitudinally
today.
today. Sorry, not today, not tomorrow. So today.
No, it's definitely tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow? Oh, yeah, it's always tomorrow. We're procrastinators. It's
It
always
used to be today, then in 1991 they changed it till tomorrow. I think I remember that. Yeah.
Linda, what are you throwing out there?
I've some mistakes and
I'm gonna
some
end
other
this,
things.
I'm going to end this recording, by the way. Sorry.